Hammond City Council public hearing agenda, August 27, 2024, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Divatario.
Here.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Leon.
Present.
Councilman Wells.
Before we go into public item hearing, just a few things for housekeeping on tonight. We will be strictly enforcing our clock on tonight. You will have 3 minutes. I'm asking anyone, when you come up, to please speak clearly into the mic. Please give your name and address. Second, with that, I'm asking you, if someone else has already stated what you said and you're standing in line, I'm going to ask you not to repeat the same thing. If so, I'm going to ask you to stop. Public item number 1.
An ordinance to transfer $15,000 from the Downtown Development District Fund 207 balance to the Digital Gateway Project account 12327. Michelle Kendall.
Good evening, Council. Michelle Kendall, Downtown Development District Director. This is a follow-up to the last meeting where the ordinance was introduced to do a budget transfer for the welcome sign. It will be installed at the corner of Coleman and Southwest Railroad Avenue. These funds are strictly coming from the DDD's fund balance, which is basically our savings account. So it is not city funds, it's DDD funds. We are contributing this additional $15,000 to see the project through.
Anyone from the public have any concerns or questions on this item? Anyone from the council? Thank you, Michelle. Hammond City Council regular session agenda, August 27th, 5:32 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Wells.
Present.
Councilman Leon.
Present.
Councilman Andrews.
Present. Anyone to stand for our prayer, please? Eternal Father, we thank you on this evening. We give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, we give you thanks right now, Father, just for who you are. Thank you, Father God, that you've given us this opportunity again to assemble. We thank you right now, Father God, that you've placed this business in our hands where we can be able to move forward on one accord. I ask that you continue to bless each council member that is here, their family, and their district that they represent. Continue to bless our administration, the mayor and his staff. Continue to protect our fire department and our police department as they continue to protect and service in our streets. We ask that you continue to bless our city, state, and country leaders right now, Father God. For if there's a time we need you right now, Father God, because our land is in such a bad shape. But we put all of our trust into you. So on this evening, dear Heavenly Father, we come to take care of everything, do it decent, order, pleasing in your sight. Therefore, you would get all glory, all honor, and all praise because it belongs to you. Because if it wasn't for your Son who died upon the cross, none of us would be here. So we just thank you right now for his blood that covers, keeps us, and protects us. We thank you for it all. In your darling Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. For the Pledge of Allegiance, all veterans and active military, please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, could I get approval of our August 13th, 2024 minutes, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells? Aye. Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Final adoption of an ordinance. Number 1, please.
Final adoption of an ordinance to transfer $15,000 from the Downtown Development District Fund 207 balance to the Digital Gateway Project, account 12327.
Same as stated in public hearing. Happy to answer any additional questions.
Okay. Anyone from the public have any concerns or questions on this particular item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Chair.
President, if I may, Michelle, I don't know if you're going to be leaving before we get to this long agenda, but you guys did an amazing job for Hot August Nights.
Oh.
And it was a success, and I wanted to thank you for all your hard work, and please pass that on to your team.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hope y'all had fun.
Thank you. Introduction of an ordinance, number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance of the Hammond City Council amending the official zoning map for the following addresses along Huitt Road, 515 Huitt Road, amending from MX-N and MX-C to MX-C, 0.19 acres in rear of 515 Huitt Road, amending from RS11A to MX-C, 515 and a half Huitt Road, amending from MX-N and MX-C to MXC, 513 Huitt Road, amending from MX-N and MX-C to MX-C, 411 Huitt Road, amending from MX-N and MX-C to MX-C. Mayor?
As she said, this is an introduction. This is Silverback Holding. You can hyperlink and see the map as well. Also, I gave you some pass outs that are kind of highlighted to show you the 4 tracks that it's being turned into. As Lisa said, there are 4 properties that are multi-zone MXN and MXC to be multi-zone MXC. If you look at your map on the lower left corner, there's a small piece that they want to incorporate as well that they purchased. And so that will be the top piece, track 1 will be a piece where the house and the shop is. The second track 2 will be an open vacant lot. The third track will be the 2.6 acres where originally they talked about putting a school there. And then the 5 acres at the bottom would be 1 track as well. I think Colin is here. Hey, there you go.
Thank you. Chuck Walker, Silverback Holdings, 195 Laurent Road, Madisonville, Louisiana. I think this is the finalization of the process, am I correct, of choosing a zoning from the MX to the MC. Any questions? Not quite sure.
I think you came a while back. Was it for the school, or what type of school is it, and is it still being
Yeah, I'm putting a
built?
preschool on the corner, which is the 2.5 or 3 acres, whatever it is. We're in the preschool industry in St. Tammany, and we're moving this way. So we have 9 preschools over there. It's a Tier 3 preschool, which offers access to government funds, state funding for single moms and people who are can't afford to have preschool.
So that y'all are building one there, or no? Okay.
We are.
Okay.
So when this is done, I'll begin the process of filing everything and start construction.
Okay.
This is an introduction, so it'll be on the next agenda as well.
I can't, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
4 or 5.
Right now, I want to hear what Mr. Collins have to say, but for the record, I want to amend this for right now because I met with some of the residents on Huitt Street, and they have some issues. So I want to amend this here right now, but I want to hear what Collins have to say. This is in District 3.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Yes, this is in District 3. When this came before the board, as you see on the map, it is already zoned as MXC, and that front portion is MXN. So all around is MXC. So we were just going to go ahead and get that zone completely after he bought the tracts of land. So it was pretty much cut and dry.
Carlin, can you explain why the frontage on Huitt looks MXN and it's very, I can't tell the distance on here, but it's very short, and then everything else is MXC. So most of it already is MXC, except
Most of
for.
it, correct. So most of it is already MXC, as you said. When it came before us, I guess before the property was bought, it was just like that. So I think it was one of those old things that were grandfathered in, and nobody ever said anything about it, kind of like the Villa West situation with the RS-11 and how trailers could have used to be going on there, but when they first annexed it in. So at the time, nobody made the survey change, so that's why we're doing that.
So at this here time, so Colin, MXC,
Yes.
can you tell what all MXC consists of?
MXC deals with a variety of things. So with the mixed uses, they try to, like, we have a MXC and an MXN. So MXC is commercial and MXN is neighborhood. So they try to make it to where it transitions. So say if you're walking from Huitt, you're transitioning to the mall, that would kind of fall under MXN. This falls under MXC because, like I said, they never changed it. So it kind of gives you a combination of neighborhood usage and retail usage. So you can have a variety of things. MXC just gives you more conditional usage in certain areas.
Well, okay then. Thank you, Colin. So what I was looking for you to say, okay, light industrial, a bottling plant.
Bartlett, that would be, so that's kind of closer to our highway, and I know that situation like by Parish, how the light industrial is on that side, and then the church is on the other side. That's a kind of different animal you're.
But I'm looking at MXC though on the paper.
Yes.
Yeah, MXC, the only difference between all of the line items that I read as well is that light industrial. But then again, this gentleman, Mr. Roberts, talking about putting a school there.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Mr. Collin, you remember I came to that meeting when he was talking about putting a school there?
Yeah, the daycare.
Okay, the daycare. And this what it was. Okay, he had them purchase all that property then. But this what either he did it or the surveyor did it. They had separated that piece from all the rest of it.
Correct.
And so we didn't talk about the rest of it. We just talked about that one piece, the daycare, right?
At that time.
At
yes.
that time.
Yes, at that time.
And so now, what I'm looking at, and so if anybody have any comments on this, I would love for you to come up. But at this here time, we really got an issue going on. I know we got the city planner. We don't have a city planner. Then a planner coordinator, she's no longer there. So I'm saying we really got an issue, and I'm talking about, and this is what's going on. And this is what I look at. All these people right here is in here for a reason. And that's what I don't want to take place. So right now, I would like to put this on hold. And whoever has something to say, I know, but see, that's the problem now. Sir, that's the problem now. See these little deals made behind the bushes? That's what we're going through right now. And so that's why I want to put this on hold. But if anybody here, yeah, you're more than welcome. Okay.
This was zoned already, commercial, when I bought it. It was 4 lots that ran horizontally. So all we did was take the same property, zoned MXC already, and a little piece that was MXN. We changed the pieces. We cut the pie up different. Instead of 4 vertical lines into 4 long pieces running from Huitt back to the apartment complex, we cut off a corner of 2.5 acres because that's what I need to build the preschool. We kept the house that exists on the piece of property, and then we cut a big piece off the back. So it went from 4 pieces of property to 4 pieces of property. The same zoning that it was before is now. So there's no changing from residential to commercial. It was already commercial.
So do y'all,
They asked me to check, because there was a little bitty piece of MXN that ran along Huitt, like he said, that was from years and moons ago. I don't know why it was there. They asked me to pick which one of them I wanted it to be, commercial. So we chose the MXC. And that's what I was told as to why we are here today. It was to pick which commercial zoning I wanted. So it was already zoned commercial when I bought it.
I know. But that's the problem that we're having and what was going on. The first meeting I was able to attend, we talked about the daycare.
Yes, sir.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I brought it up why we not talking about all the property? And your surveyor or somebody said, we're just not talking about that, we just worried about this piece right now. Getting this here piece set up to build a daycare.
Yes, when you mean talking about all the property,
I'm talking about, when we first talked about it.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't the entire piece of property. It was just talking about doing a daycare
well,
on
that's the
part
only
of
thing
it.
I'm gonna build on is that one lot.
Yeah,
The rest is just sitting there, but it's already commercial.
yeah, no, I don't have a problem with what is already zoned, but I'm worried about when we change the zoning.
No, we're not changing the zoning.
Well, I think he's
We're
referring,
choosing a zoning.
he's referring to, right now, it's listed as MXN and MXC.
Right.
So you're introducing, trying to change it from MXN to all MXC. So it's zoned, it's zoned,
We
yeah.
can keep it the way it was.
Okay.
It don't matter to me.
Okay,
Interject.
I'm sorry.
okay.
No, so when he came before the Board of Adjustments after the time he came, we kind of gave him a revision of saying that you could go ahead and do this if you change all the zoning so everything could be uniform. So it's not on him that he's asking for this. It's kind of like we gave it to him because it didn't make any sense.
So what made y'all do what made
So-
y'all suggest MXC instead of MXN, like making it all MXN?
Because that part of Huitt really doesn't have sidewalks. That portion of Huitt doesn't have sidewalks. The closest sidewalk is on the next block. So no one really walks Huitt on that road. So that's why it made more sense to keep it as MXC.
If you want me to choose MXN, we can make it all MXN. It was a coin flip. They both actually have the same things that they allow. That's how close they are to zoning.
Okay,
So it's zoned, both of those, a little bit of MXN, a lot of MXC. So I chose the lot, the whole portion to be MXC, because that was the 95% of it already.
okay. Is anybody else up here like to speak on this here, please? Once again, okay.
Good evening, Tracy Wells, Mooney Avenue. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I just want to clarify some things. When you choose a MXC, you allow for light industrial, bottling plant, publishing, canning, lumber yard, contractor storage, carpentry shop, accessory use. You can also have smaller lots, okay? You only have to use 80% of the lot with any building. So when you make a decision, you keep in mind the future use of land as well. So I understand that some of it's MXN, some of it's MXC, but you have residents across the street. And as Mr. Douglas said, nobody travels the road there. We ride bikes all the time. Yes, we just don't happen to have sidewalks right now. But when you consider future use, I always hear Councilman DeVitrio talk about smart growth. Just keep in mind of the possibilities of what can be developed once you change it all to MXC. Thank you.
I have a question. The daycare that you're trying to do is in the upper right corner,
Upper
is
right
that right?
corner.
So that's the only one you're actually trying to develop at the moment?
Correct.
Which you need MXC or MXN for?
I need what it
either
is
way.
already.
And the northern part of that is MXN, the southern part of just that lot is
Went
MXC.
on Hewitt on that drawing and took a half inch and came all the way across, all four pieces.
Is that your
That would be
iPad?
MXN.
Mayor.
MXN portion.
Mayor, is that your iPad? Yes. Go up to where it shows the color, the zoning.
is all the way across the.
No,
The Hewitt
go to
Road.
this page so people can see that.
No, that's not his iPad.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's somebody
Look,
over
right there.
there.
That's what I'm
iPad.
talking about.
He's moving it over there. He isn't.
Oh, well, that's what I'm talking about, that right there.
Right.
Okay.
So, let me reiterate on my part. According to how I bought it, the only thing I changed was the lines. It is zoned commercial MXC, 95% of it already, currently.
I think
There's a
that,
small portion of MXN, or whatever it is.
yeah, MXN, yeah.
That they asked me to choose which one I wanted. I went onto the site and looked at what's available in each one of them. And I'm telling you, it's what, 6 of one, half a dozen of another, which each one of them allows. So the fact that it was 95% MXC, we picked that one.
And I,
So if I didn't change the lines, we could have built a preschool on it yesterday, because it's zoned for that. It's zoned MXC currently. So I'm not changing the zoning
And
Can't-
MXN.
and MXC.
the daycare can go in either or.
Either or?
Right, yeah.
Right.
So, and I think that the concern, what I'm looking at is, I guess, the MXC is going to actually have, it's going to be a little more loose, it's going to have a little more options than MXN. MXN is usually borders neighborhoods, and you would be a little more protective of a neighborhood. So
Would y'all
therefore,
prefer if I made it MXC?
that's not my district, that's his district, but I would imagine, anybody that you could protect or neighborhood or whatnot would be the
'Cause I'm
better
telling you, it
route
was
to
a
go. Yeah.
Choose one, and
Yeah.
it was either or.
Can they amend it to be MXN?
Yes. You could amend the item to change it to MXN. We just got to be careful about the advertising when we go back to post it, that the public knows that it's no longer proposed to be MXC, it's going to be MXN, if that's what you,
I'm gonna say it again. We having all this discussion. I asked if anybody had anything else to say, because it was posted already. I said I would like to table this for the next meeting. That's all I said. It's in District 3. See how him and I talking now? Him and I can talk outside. Him and I can talk tomorrow. We can talk next week. That's all I said. I would like to table this. I'm not trying to sit here and make no decision on nothing right now. The meeting that they had, I didn't get a chance to attend. I attended the meeting when we talked about the daycare. It was brought up, the whole piece of property, and it come from the whole piece of property to doing a little piece of the property with the daycare. That's all I ask. Can I table this for right now?
So you're making a motion to table it?
That's all I want to do. And I said, if anybody else had anything to say on this here topic, they more than welcome, because it was posted already. I just asked, can we table this for right now?
Second. I'll do a second.
Thank you.
It's tabled till when?
The next council meeting, or when you and I can meet
Yes, sir.
with the,
No life, whenever you want to meet.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Excuse me, Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Introduction of ordinance number 2.
Introduction of an ordinance to increase fees for leases and services to the Hammond North Shore Regional Airport. Mayor Panapito?
This is continuing to move the airport to be self-sufficient. If you go to the hyperlink or if you go to the page, it will show the differences of rates from the past to now. The rates for single engine tie-down fees were $5. Now they're going to be $30. For small twin engines were $7.50. Now they're going to be $35. Fuel flowage was at 15 cents. The board approved an additional 10 cents. Now it'll be 25 cents per gallon.
Big jump.
Operational permit per year, that's when a mechanic comes on site and works on someone's plane on site, which is actually competition for local mechanics on site. So it's a $250 fee. That remains the same. Lease per square foot per year for raw land is 21 cents per square foot, and rent for hangars that we own per month is 31 cents a month. So this, from this point on, will be adjusted by the CPI, Consumer Price Index, on a yearly basis, so we can keep up with that. And that was all approved by the board.
The board was all in favor of that?
Yes, sir.
Anyone from the public on this item? Anyone else from the council?
Yeah, I have one question. Mr. Mayor, you say far as a mechanic coming out there doing any work, could you repeat that again, please?
So if you were a mechanic with your own truck to do work on airplanes, and you went to different bases, they would roll onto a base and start working on someone's aircraft. If you come on our base, and this was in place prior to, it's $250 fee to be able to stay on the base and work on their aircraft till you complete the project, the job.
Okay, but I think I heard you say local, right?
Well, I mean, the local businesses, we have 2 local maintenance shops on the airport itself that it would be competing with.
Okay, so the local business, is at the airport right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm glad you said, local business. And I think, and I know this is not pertaining to this here, but I think that what Mr. Sal been hollering for the longest about local business. And that's why I wanted you to repeat it again. So when we saying this for the airport, let's start doing it across Hammond for the local business. So even when we doing these bids, even when we doing these vehicle sales, let's start considering it a local business. So that's all I wanted to hear when you said local.
And at the 10% increase on the fuel, with the amount of fuel that we went through last year, that would add an additional $126,000 to the budget.
Anyone else? You step to the mic and give your name and address, please.
My name is Christopher Goodman, 861 Industrial Park Road. We're currently building a hangar currently on the airfield. I have a couple questions here. I notice in here you have that the lease is going from 12 cents to 21 cents. How is that CPI has been adjusted over a couple of years? Because to my knowledge, it has not. And there are some leases that are above the 12 cents. The other one is the flowage fee. I will applaud the mayor on that one because I did my own research, and the local area, the flowage fee is 25 to 30 cents in the local area. However, my biggest issue is the 31 cents. My own research has proven that within a 100-mile radius, that 31 cents would actually increase the city-owned hangars by almost 25% over the average of the other airports. And in doing so, that could push business away from the airport. So my recommendation would be do a cost over time to where it slowly increased higher and not just a jump from, what's the current rate, 21, 23? 20 to 31, and have some type of incremental rate. Now, the flowage fee I do agree with because, like I said, it's an average and it's been way lower in the past. The other question I have is with us currently building a hangar and we've been asking for a lease for some time, will this increase be retroactive to ours, or will, since we've already been approved under the previous policy, be allowed to continue to keep there?
First of all, as you see here, these fees haven't been adjusted since 2000.
Yes,
So that being said, we've been behind the curve for a long time.
we have been
on
behind the
lease.
curve. However, with that being said, at one point in time, my own aircraft was on the ramp, and I was paying $25 per foot back in 2015 and 17, which now that I know this ordinance exists, how come we weren't instituting the $5 and there's people currently out there paying $25 with what this proposal increases if it hasn't been approved yet?
As Mr. Tony has been in place and we've gone through all the contracts and leases as per the FAA coming in and doing their audit, they want it up to date and up to par. CPI is a good average to work from. As far as your lease is concerned, you should have had the lease before you started that job. You know that as well as we do.
And we asked for it.
So all you had to do was put it in. You didn't have, Chris, we've been back and forth over this, and that's on
I asked
you.
Dave LeBou 5 times for a lease.
Well, I get that, and Mr. LeBou's not here anymore.
I understand that, and that's no part of our own, but I'm just saying
Correct.
that.
So now it's being adjusted, now it's being worked on as well. Andre's worked with y'all, and you're owner of the hangar.
Affirmative. So my question is it going to be retroactive on the policy in which the board approved our hangar, or is it going to be on the new policy with a higher rate?
Andre, didn't you work the lease?
Chris, what complicates it is under the ordinance that was passed, there should have been CPI increases all the way through from 2015,
Correct.
but there wasn't.
And the
So what was-
CPI increase, according to the Board of Labor Statistics, would have been 28.7%, which would have brought the current rate to 16 cents.
We did the calculation, Charles did, and it came up to be 21 cents. If you took what would have been the 12 cents
Affirmative.
today, would have been 21 cents. That's-
Well, I would really like to see that math
Sure.
because the Bureau of Labor Statistics actually has a calculator on their website where you can just put it in and it tells you the number. And that should be at 15.7 cents, which it rounds up to 16 cents.
Happy to review that with you.
But my question still stands. Based on the fact that we started this hangar prior to this, are we going to be held to the prior standard, or are we going to be held to the new standard?
Well, the prior standard is a CPI increase every year. It just
Affirmative.
wasn't implemented.
And unfortunately, there are other things that matter, like the FA's grant assurances, that you should apply the CPI to everybody. So my question is, if the CPI has not been applied to the other FBOs on the field, why should it be applied to ours? Because grant assurance number 23 says you can't do that.
It will be.
Let me ask you, when you built yours or started to build yours, you didn't have a lease the whole time?
No, it was approved by the airport board. We were given the go-ahead, permitting, whole 9 yards. We began with the promise that the lease is in progress, and we have asked for it at least 5 or 6 times, and I have yet to see a draft of that lease.
So when you started building, before you started building, you were asking for a lease,
Affirmative.
and you just never got one?
Never got that far. And again, no fault on the city, the mayor, Dave LeBou, or whatever. It's just we never got that far. We commenced with construction, based on the agreement we had with the board, and we're still waiting on that lease.
The reason why this thing was even caught in the midst of you starting this is I was called by the contractor and asked about pouring the concrete. You as well, I saw you at a restaurant and you told me you were building a hangar, and I said, what? And so when I looked into it, and then the contractor called me, you had no lease. Apparently through Dave LeBou, you went and you staked out your own, there was no survey done, you staked out your own spot.
That was
All that being said, Chris,
That's
there's a
incorrect.
lot of things that happened with that hangar
Well,
that you don't own.
That was incorrect, okay? We went out
We
there.
stopped
after the
that
board-
project until it was checked out. So
Well,
you,
some of that, Mr.
Dave
Mayor-
LeBou and Elise, don't throw that on Dave LeBou as much as that's on you as well.
My
You shouldn't
que- well, my
have, you were
question was
running that,
which-
you were
which
running
policy
that
were you-
job as quick as you could, and it needed to
Excuse me,
stop.
I cut you off right quick. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You say you never received a lease?
No, sir.
Okay. So who do you apply to the lease for, and why were you able to start a project
The-
without a lease is my question.
The policy we were communicated to was with Dave LeBou at the time. We went
So the
to
director of the airport is the one who grants the
airport.
lease?
We went to the airport authority meeting, at which they unanimously approved our hangar. We began construction. We went out there and to correct the statement that Mr. Mayor has said, we went out there and we placed the stakes in the ground and we asked Dave LeBou, is this where we talked about, can you make sure this is what we're talking about if there's any correction? He said yes, because I didn't want to go ahead and start our survey if that wasn't the proper location. That was the staking you were talking about.
You didn't want to start the survey, which should have been done prior to anything happening. So Dave LeBou approving that, the board approves your concept. You ran with that thing hard, Chris,
We did.
on your own.
We did.
You did that. When the owner
Correct.
found out what you had done, he wasn't particularly happy about it. There's a process, okay? You weren't following the process. So when we stopped it and brought it, you didn't even have drainage. Look, it's all set and done now. Why are you complaining
we
now?
had-
I don't have a clue because
Well, I don't know why we're
everything's
complaining.
in place
The issue
now.
at hand-
You don't have a lease still.
The issue at hand was, and I understand what you're talking about the process. The lease, the question I have is, are we going to be held to the prior standard since we didn't have a lease at no fault of our own? Or are we going to held to the newer standard that was changed in mid-game?
You would be held to the new standard, correct? Or am I
The
wrong?
old standard is CPI increases under the old ordinance. Would have been CPI increases every year from 2015 or 2001 forward.
Which would be 16 cents according to
And I'm
Department of Labor
happy,
Statistics.
I'm happy to review that with you, Chris. That was a different number that I was provided by the city with the CPI. I'm happy to review that with you, how they came up with that calculation.
And the overall dollars of this lease over a year's period, I don't think Mr. Boning has a problem with it.
Well, I can't speak for Mr. Boeing. If he wants to get up here and talk, he can. He's here tonight, but I don't think he will. My question was simple. I just wanted to, since we're changing it in mid-game and we're in the middle of this, I was just curious as to the question.
So who did you email about this lease, and you started building the hangar before you got a lease in place? So did somebody tell you, just go ahead and build it and get it whenever? Or like, I don't understand.
David LeBou said we can commence with construction and quote unquote, the lease is in progress. And then various things happened with David LeBou to where that just never got done. When Tony did take over, I asked the question then too. I think Tony may have a draft of the lease, I'm not sure. But I have never seen the draft.
So how long has projects been going on?
We got it approved by the airport board in January. We broke ground in April.
January this year?
Yes, sir.
So 8 months, no lease.
John Boning, 861 Industrial as well, business partner. I mean, to confirm what he is saying, yes, everything was approved by the airport board, and to my knowledge, no lease was ever drafted. We have asked several times. I myself have gone there. And again, not to reminisce on the fact that Dave is not there anymore, but if he was the holdup for us not getting a draft or getting any numbers together, I'm sorry. But at the same time, the leg that we stand on is that was approved at the airport board meeting under the pretense that that was our lease rate. So I understand CPI increase, I understand all of this, but again, I would like to see the math. But, you know, I really want to know where we stand. Are we on the old rate or are we on the new rate? Plain and simple, and then I would like to verify that.
So there's no policy in place that states, you know, before building, a lease needs to be executed? Like, even if it's approved, but a lease need to be executed before actually start building somebody else's property?
That policy was not communicated to us, and everything we have done was in conjunction with Dave LeBeau at the time, and everything we've done, we had permits in hand prior to doing it.
And
Go ahead, here you go.
I guess to more so answer you, I mean, everything was approved during the airport board, I guess, regime under David. So I guess for us, not to have a lease, sure, is our own responsibility, but at the same time, that was approved at the meeting.
So that would be in their minutes.
Start at the meeting, correct.
That'd be in their
We have a
minutes.
copy of the minutes to back that up.
Did
So
you have a rent during this, did you have a rent amount
no,
set?
ma'am.
The city
the-
ordinance is
correct.
12 cents per square foot plus CPI increases. So that was already by ordinance. The actual rent amount wasn't to debate. The only thing was what was the actual size square footage, which we had to provide a survey to say how much square footage we were occupying. But as far as that, the rate goes, that's in the city ordinance already.
Have you paid any rent?
No, because part of the airport board meeting.
In the minutes, it was stated that we will not start our lease until utilities were brought across the taxiway.
We were the first ones to build inside the taxiway.
You don't start your lease or you don't start your rent? Those
You
are
don't
two
start
different.
our lease,
Yeah, you
which
don't start the
our
lease.
lease
Then
is
you don't have a
considered-
lease.
Which, right, but our lease
Which
is
you don't mean,
considered
means you
our
don't have rent until,
correct.
and then when your lease is executed, it'll be what rent is at that
Which,
time.
yes, ma'am,
The-
which was approved before the building when utilities were brought across. So I
You sound like a
can't help
cluster.
that utilities weren't there
I think
when I
this is
started.
more for the board of the airport, the city attorney, and the mayor.
Yeah.
I get, yeah, that's a lot going on there. You got some legal issues and everything, but,
Well, I would like to capture one thing on the question that he asked about rent. Part of that agreement to build the hangar was we were the first ones to build inside the taxiway. And inside the taxiway, there's no infrastructure. Part of being the first ones to develop and all the other land that was part of the 5-year plan to develop there was we negotiated with the city, Dave LeBeau, the mayor, the airport council, was that they would bring the sewer, water, and electric to that side of the taxiway for us to commence. Part of that, based on the fact we didn't know the timeline, was that our lease would not begin until those services were in place. And to date, Energy finally showed up today to begin their part. Sewer and water, compliment the mayor, that's been done. It's all ready and permitted connected to. Energy just started, came out there today to begin their work order. So as far as the lease not starting, that was agreed to by the board, and we are going with the agreement that's there.
Seems like there's just a communication issue here and maybe some policy and management issues there for how you know, the conversation started and if something like this happens with delays and where do you go from there? You know, so.
Seems to me, Chris and John, the project wasn't stopped even when I found out about what was going on, because it was a shock to me that you were pouring concrete the next day with no survey.
At no point in time were we.
Okay, hold
were
on, I'm
stalled.
talking. We kept your project going, and we said that the infrastructure will be there by the time that hangar's finished, or just thereabout. You had no problems with that. All the conduits in the ground, you
Yes.
just said, energy showing up today or tomorrow, water, sewer in place.
And I
So what you're
on that-
here
all that
for
is lining up
complaining
at the same
about,
time.
I guess, is the lease amount, which overall, over a year's period of time, how much money are we talking about, John?
The project?
The increase in lease.
If you go from 16 to 21, you're looking at approximately a 33% increase versus one versus the other. Approximately $1,200 a month, or $1,200 a year.
$1,200, John.
So in other words, what I get right now, if this fee would have never changed, you would have never got up we would have never heard anything about not having a lease at all.
No, because to my understanding,
No,
Mr. President,
right.
we were just going according to agreement.
Right, so we would have never heard anything about any of this. My next question is to you, Andre. No offense to you or anybody else. Would this affect anything that we're about to look into right now? Because this seems like this issue is between the airport board and Mr. LeBou, who is no longer with us, where we can ask him any questions on this, and back to the city administration.
No, sir. No, sir. And we'll work with these guys and show you the calculations with the CPI increases that should have been implemented. And we'll work with them, Councilman. But this is.
No, the reason I'm just asking is because of the simple fact, if the fee would have never changed, he'd have still been sitting in his seat.
Correct.
And none of this other stuff would have been out nowhere, is what I'm saying.
That's correct.
About the lease and all of that, because if it's other business that need to be taken care of before you can move forward with anything, you got to have the proper documentation in your hand in order to proceed. That's just me. I do appreciate you bringing that information forth. Again, that part would be something that the airport board, and like I say, no, Mr. LeBou is no longer with us. I do appreciate the fact that you were able to bring this forth, but Andre said he's willing to look into this. And again, no disrespect to anything. I wish this works out the way that you're looking at it. I hope it goes to what you're looking at it for it to be. I would hope, but as you stated, this is in their minutes, so all they do is pull the minutes and go from there.
Yes, sir.
But it would be good.
I'll give it to you after the meeting.
It would definitely be good to always have something in your hand. You know, that signed contract is way better than word of mouth and a handshake.
We did try.
Because word of mouth and a handshake, you see a change on you very quickly.
So, hey, let me ask you a question while y'all here. Mr. LeBou,
Yes, sir.
the airport director, right?
Yes, sir.
He's no longer there. How long he been gone? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months?
Am I correct?
Probably 5 or 6, maybe.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
It's been several months.
okay.
But Mr. Tony's been working on this, and so has Andre. I mean, nothing has stopped for you all. You're truly sitting up here about $1,200.
So the authority, the board, the airport board, what authority do they have? Do they advise, or they have the authority to approve and everything?
Leases.
Council sets the lease rates,
Yeah.
which you're doing, you're amending them, the lease rates. But the airport board does have authority to enter into leases along the lines of your ordinance with
Okay,
the fee.
so they're just not just only advise, they actually, they vote
Correct.
to approve a lease or
Yes.
deny a lease? Okay.
And that was the authority, of course, we acted upon.
Gotcha.
And they approved
Unanimously, yes.
that lease at that time, okay.
And to say, John, we are very happy that you're on the airport building this hangar for your aircraft. Pleased that Chris is going to have his business operating out of it as well. But Chris was the point person on this project, and it was flying quick. A little quicker than Dave, I think, was handling. We apologize for that. I think those measures have been corrected. We've been on top of it. I don't think you're going to skip a beat. I think you're fine, other than possibly the $1,200 increase a year, not a month, a year on this hangar, which most planes, my family's been in aviation since the 50s, you bring a plane like you bring it in there, and you're paying $3,000 to $7,000 a month for these big jets. So, and that's your customer that'll be paying that. So I don't really understand why there's such a, you're unhappy about this, Chris, other than the fact that you were the one that was pushing this thing, and you have to answer to John. But John, I'm telling you, you're right on schedule, and your lease is in hand.
And I don't disagree with the mayor on that. We haven't, there was a brief stop while we're getting some documents together, but we have not been stalled because that happened while we were waiting on the building to get there. So he's 100% correct. We have not stalled the progression, and it does look just like Dave and we originally talked about, that the utilities will be in place about the same time the hangar's finished. But being the fact that this change has occurred, I was curious as to which side of the house we would be on.
Gotcha.
That's a question for the attorney and the airport board.
Very good.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
Any other question for anyone on the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilman Divatario,
Aye.
Councilman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Wells,
Abstain.
and Councilman Leon.
Other business to discuss?
Permits, construction, code violations, remedies and related issues, and actions regarding 1100 Rue Chalet, Hammond, Louisiana. Councilman Divatario.
This topic is about a issue that happened in Villa West subdivision a couple weeks back. It was brought up in the last city council meeting in a report, council report. This is actually on the agenda now, and anyone here tonight that has some concerns with the permit, construction, code violations, related issues to 1100 Rue Chalet, they can come up and talk and express their concerns, issues about what happened. And if we also later on, we have another topic on the agenda, that, when we get to that point, if y'all have already came up and stated what y'all stated, if it's something new, by all means, come up on later on. But, let's not say the whole thing again, but this is a time right now to talk about the issue and the concerns, and stick around for the later on in the meeting, because there is some other topic on the agenda after this one. So, thank you.
What's the current status of that situation today?
So I met with the judge, and then Andre as well met with the owner. We thought there for a minute. I believe, Andre, you want to, I'll express what the judge says first. This isn't a felony, so he won't issue a warrant for us to go into the house. And then Andre had talked to this gentleman, and we thought that he was going to allow us to go in and inspect the home. And at the last minute, we were lining it up with the building official, and Andre?
Well, I have communicated with the owner, as I expressed last time. He knows it's zoned single family. He knows you can't have duplexes in that subdivision. He knows if he operates a duplex, we're going to take action to enforce it. And so he can't operate a duplex. He tells me he's not going to operate as a duplex. And until there's evidence of a violation, we don't have anything to go on. Once there's evidence of a violation operating as a duplex, we'll take action to enforce it. He did talk about going into the house. I can't answer for him why he changed his mind, but later when I spoke with him, he'd rather not have anyone from the city go inside it.
And we have two issues. That's one issue. We have another issue with a permitting issue, and we shouldn't be here today where we're at right now. So that's two topics. So more than welcome to audience. Anybody wants to come up and speak their concerns, by all means, it's your time. Thank you.
Cindy Grega, 1108 Rue Chalet. So, Andre, you said that he's not going to do what? He's not going to...
He'll not operate as a duplex, meaning he won't rent the house out to suit two separate groups.
But it's still a duplex.
Well,
It's still a violation of the code.
Why? I mean, it's not a duplex, I don't think.
It is a duplex.
Well,
It's a duplex.
I did speak with the realtor, and he said there was a mistake that she made, and they took it down. So a duplex under the UDC is a residential dwelling structure located on a single lot containing two rental dwelling units separated from each other by an unpierced wall extending from the ground to the bottom of the common roof. Each duplex unit shall be approximately the same size and must include paved parking and driveways and separate entrances with no common entry doors.
You just described 1100 Rue Chalet.
So tell me, Cindy, why do you think it's a duplex?
Because there's it's a 3,000 square foot house, and they have gone in and erected walls to separate it.
On the interior?
Yes, on the interior.
And do you have pictures of that?
I can get them.
Yeah, because that's
Any realtor could show us the property, but it's not listed anymore.
Correct. So Cindy, I'm happy, once there's evidence presented that he's done what you've claimed, and that is built interior to the house from the from the floor to the ceiling.
Well, he's admitted it.
No, sir, no, ma'am, he didn't, not to me on the phone. And the Realtor told me he made a mistake, that the Realtor made a mistake in marketing it as a duplex.
Andre, excuse me, let me ask a question. When issued a building permit, isn't there an inspector that has to go make sure that, or even that, this is my question, I could be wrong, and I'm not a builder, I'm not a contractor, but as if I was building this building here, in order for us to move into it, somebody had to come check everything to say that this is what it was.
Correct.
So, by the judge stated that it's not a felony and they can't issue a warrant, and he's not allowing to go, but he's done a project, it seems to me that we should be able to, and I could be wrong, I'm just asking, to me that we should be able to still check this.
Well, so when we go to court, we'd like to have proof and not show up and all of a sudden it's not there. So Cindy, again, if there's evidence of what's been constructed on the interior from floor to ceiling and it separates the house of equal size on the interior, not the mother-in-law suite or not the property in the back, bring that to us and we'll bring an enforcement. There's no question we're going to do that.
Mr. Chairman, there was a permit issued for a driveway, not a building, not any building on a
There's
house.
no permit for any interior construction.
Because he didn't ask
And that
for
doesn't-
one.
You're right, Cindy, that doesn't mean he didn't do it. All I can say is we have no evidence to show that he has done that. Certainly, if he applied for the permit and did it, he probably shouldn't have gotten it, but if he did it, we don't have evidence of that.
And so we're just going to forget about it?
No, sir, no, ma'am, no, ma'am.
How are we going to proceed? How's the city going to proceed to enforce the code that the city has adopted?
We are monitoring very carefully. I've spoken with neighbors. We're monitoring carefully what's going on at that property.
What does that mean, monitoring?
Watching the house.
Who's going to watch it?
I'm not going to give names in a public meeting of who's doing it. I'm happy to speak with you after the meeting.
Well, I guess she's worried. You don't have to really speak names. I think she's mainly worried about who's organized. Like, is there a position title or anything that is governed or assigned to manage this house out of all the things in the city? Now they're gonna have to patrol this one house to
Somebody
check
who
it
lives
out.
right there.
Yeah.
You can see it from out of their front yard, who I've spoken with after the meeting and spoken with earlier today and spoken with several times, is on the watch. And when he sees something suspicious, like people are moving in or something's going on, then we'll start looking at it more closely.
Well, I've been inside the house. I had a realtor show it to me when it was still listed.
And you saw that?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it after the meeting.
Oh, I'd rather talk about it now. It's a duplex, and can we not agree that if we don't enforce this code, it sets a precedent?
Yes.
Okay. Are you not concerned about the taxpayers who live in Villa West?
I am.
It doesn't feel like it.
Cindy, I've spoken with many folks who live in Villa West and expressed it. Let's meet after. I'll get an affidavit from you, an affidavit from anyone else who's viewed the house, who can testify in court as to what they saw and what's there. Then we can go forward.
All right. But I just want to say one more thing. The code provides for enforcement.
Yes.
That when someone illegally violates the zoning ordinance, that they have to put the property back to its original status.
Yes, and we'll ask the judge.
They need to jackhammer that parking in the front, take down that fence, relay the sod, and join the property back to single-family status.
Well, we'll ask
Nothing
the judge,
else is acceptable.
We'll ask the judge to be sure that it's not set up as a duplex. Yes, ma'am.
Is he going to let the judge in?
Well, that's for the judge. The judge can certainly order an inspection, but not without a hearing and not having the owner there.
That's amazing. Do we still not have a building inspector?
Yes, we do. And you are the evidence for this.
Yes.
We have our evidence now, and
Right.
it's you. So you signed the affidavit saying you saw this, and then we'll go to court, and the judge will gladly, probably, hopefully, give us
We're up
that
and waiting
right
on
to go enter the house with your affidavit.
All right.
I'm Jim Greger, and I'm at 1108 Rouge Chalet. And my question is, what would keep him from going in there and opening that wall that he put in and say, ha-ha, it's a family housing again. We have the dates and we have the pictures of when we went in and saw it. And there was no wall, there's nothing but a wall, no door, and the backyard is fenced off. And it's just not making sense. And I just want it to be known, I would hate to go back in that house and find that there's a wall taken out and a door put in to put it together. The other thing, they're supposed to be of the same size. Those rooms, those two pieces of building are not the same size as one. One is big and one is small. And they've had the curtains open. You can see in there. You can see the two kitchens. Okay, 2 kitchens. That sounds to me like a duplex.
Well, you may be with Cindy signing an affidavit as well and testifying, for sure.
Yeah.
And certainly if you have photographs.
But I just hate to see somebody go in there and take a door, put a door in there. All right? Because I'm watching it, but I'm not there 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And the son, parked in the front today on the pad. And now they're saying that he's living in the front. Well, they've been living in the back for, what, 6 months? So it's just, there's something fishy going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crawford, 1005 Rue Chalet. I was the first one to notify Sam of this this parking lot being put in front of the house. And I was wondering, what was the objective? Why would someone put a parking spot in the front yard when they already have parking on the corner for up to 5 cars? It didn't make sense to me. So the first thing that hit me was that the guy's getting ready to subdivide it into 2 pieces. And I saw the rental sign, so I said, he's going to sublease it and rent it as the 2 pieces. So first of all, I disagree with that theory, but if anyone saw a parking spot being put in the front yard of a house that already had ample parking, what would you think? Why? Why would that? What is the objective of the owner? What is he doing? Why would he do that? Now, if it was a circle drive, I would never have raised a question, and we would have never known anything else, other than that she got to go inside because she saw it was a lease. But we would have never known anything that was going on at that house. So, and like I said, I've seen the son park on the side and go in the back. He doesn't go in through any of the doors, walks around the back and comes in through the back entrance. And it's just confusing to me. And again, and I know you're going to bring up some issues with what's going on ordinance-wise throughout the area, because we have other problems in Villa West besides that. But that's just what I want to say. Thanks.
All right. That's it.
And anyone else here to talk? Well,
Washington. I live at 604 Rue Chalet. I'm apologize to myself for first getting up, because it's been a number of years since I've been up here. Observation. It seems to me if you're cunning enough to slip something through, then you're good enough to go. You can draw lines, no survey, you can build. I'm sitting there asking myself, so if I just get through, it doesn't matter. And I'm just saying that's what I'm hearing. If it's wrong, and it's wrong. So why do we have to defend right? The defense should be on the other end. We are the taxpayer, and we're doing the right thing. It's time out for good to be chasing evil. Now, I used to work with Mayor Foster. I'm a retired minister. But the book said there'll come a time we will call good evil, evil good. That's what it sounds like to me. Thank you.
Sir, it's good that you said that, and it's amazing. Nobody even brought it up. Who gave them the permit? That's what need to be said. See, we talking about the duplex, the single house, but they gave them one, and it shouldn't have been given out. Point blank. I'm talking about driveway. I don't care what it is. Nobody never brought that point up. See, if you get to the main point, then we can get the rest solved. Why? Who gave him a permit? See, if you look at the person's name on there, he deceased, but nobody even bringing that up. Who authorized the permit? Who gave them the permit? Where did it come from? Because, see, this guy deceased, and that's the biggest problem I have. Because, see, what we say, if I sign your name on something, that's forgery. And we know it was a computer, how they issued out, but it shouldn't hit the person's name on there, shouldn't have been on there. That's why, and Andre, you help me out, you're a lawyer. Why was the permit even given out and this guy deceased? That's what I want to know. And see, if we can get to that, then we can figure out the rest, because the person that deceased, that's whose name was on the permit. So we don't even know who got access to the computers. Andre, you know that part. I just want to hear what you got to say, because this is what everybody here need to know, what's going on, how the permit was even given out.
I don't know, Councilman. I'm not involved in the permit process.
And you see that's this whole problem here, is that there's two problems. We got the problem with it being built, but at the end of the day, people from the neighborhood and residents notified me, and I notified the city, and they knew about it, the permanent office, and that should have been the red flag right there. We're here today talking about this, going back and forth on this because of something that should not even be here. We shouldn't even be here right now talking about it, because it should have been stopped beforehand and not of continued construction. And when they were notified, that should have been the flag to go ahead and take your time. It's not the guy's fault. The guy, whoever that guy is that went ahead and built it, went to the permit office and got a permit, and they gave it to him. They gave him a fake permit, pretty much. I mean, it was a guy whose name is on there, deceased, and so he went about his business. When that should have been red flags when they went there, that they had fences being built in between, they had other little modifications being made, and it should have been, what is the need of this, some little discussion on that, and there wasn't any. So the problem here is we can go ahead and try to redirect the issues and talk about, oh, well, we sent notice, now he's not going to do this. I mean, at the end of the day, he has, and he's done it. And the bigger picture is that we have a permit that came out of a public office that is not filled out correctly and not legitimate, and the guy did the work, and that's what happened. And we're here today, and it's scary to think what could happen in the future if this happened, or what has happened that we do not know about. And all the concerns, if they're here tonight or not, that have been calling me and telling me, is that they're concerned on what's actually going on in the permanent office whenever we have things like this happen, and they're all taxpayers, public, and they are expecting that the city's, has the best interest of the majority of the people, or, what's right and what's wrong. And when they see something like that, it's kind of alarming and scary, and that's their concern, and it continue to happen and down the road. And what's to stop it if this happened one time? So.
I'm Mike Bornholt, 805 Delmar. The first thing that we talked about and heard this morning, a problem with permits out at the airport. Repetition between permits of permits that probably were issued that shouldn't have been, and the guy started building them like what you said, Sam, and then you shut him down. He came back, did it again. It seems as though he was in such a big hurry to try to get things done before getting caught. Now, the big thing that I'm thinking about, because when I lived in Texas for the majority of my lifetime, and like what I was telling you before the meeting, there's a certain amount of liability when the city representatives make a mistake versus the guy that's actually spending the money, to where you have to weigh, or the lawyer, I don't know whether it's Andre that would have to go in, but it could come down to where the city bears some responsibility on not doing the right thing, and the guy that's building this did the wrong thing because he didn't know any better, but he went ahead and spent it anyway because he was in such a hurry. You know, and anytime the city becomes liable, the taxpayers pay for it. So I'm just kind of looking at that thinking, because here in this meeting, and this is a surprise for the airport problem, it's almost like a problem that, what's next? Another permit problem next week, next month? Anyway.
Yes.
Jill Dangerfield, 1000 Rue de la Paix. I feel like, again, the city did let us down there based on permits and everything. But if it's becoming a problem that it could be the city is held liable, letting this guy come in and put this type of house in our neighborhood, then the city should pay for it. The city should pay to have the driveway redone. The city should have that done because we don't think it's fair that he was able to do that. The other thing I'm thinking about, the owner is not here to represent himself because he wouldn't put it in his neighborhood. He wouldn't go into his community and make a duplex. So now we have to deal with the issue. He want to give his son somewhere to live plus extra income, and we have to tolerate that. So it's not fair to us, but the city should be held liable for not having their permits in order. So they should be able to pay to say, hey, we're going to go on and take this driveway up on the city. That's how I look at it.
Let me ask you something. I just need some clarification. So there was a fence built, there was construction inside the home, and there was a driveway. So there's 3 permits that were issued? That's what I'm confused about.
No, I mean, there should have been.
We interchanging all of this together.
Yeah, yes.
None of
The
them were.
interior permit
So-
is the big one. The
sorry?
interior permit is the big one.
So there was a permit to do construction?
No.
There was
No.
not a permit to do
No.
construction?
No.
So that
This
just
is rogue.
happened.
This is rogue. If it's happened, that was done without a permit.
Okay.
Oh.
And the divided fence in the backyard, there was a permit for that?
No,
There was no permit for that?
no.
So the only permit that was issued was for a cement pad in the front of the house?
Correct.
And it's not filled out, and it's a wrong name and everything else. So that's what was issued. And it was notified, everybody, I notified via email when I was notified that there's a problem going over here. Take your time and look at all the setbacks, all the requirements that are needed for this, and just take your time to do it. When we didn't even have a building inspector at the time because he was deceased, and so I think it was supposed to actually go to the parish during this time, that we don't have one, and so somehow it was rushed, and they went out and gave him a permit that was not correct, and therefore all that stuff in the back they're talking about was already done. And then that was the last thing to be done. They got the permit from the city that was not right. So that's where we're at right now today, and that's where all these people are concerned about.
So let me ask you this. When a resident decides to do construction to their home, renovate the inside of their home, does the city require a permit for that?
It depends specifically, but I think they do. It depends on exactly what work they're being done.
When the construction's ongoing or completed, and somebody complains, what is the procedure?
I'll find out if they should have had a permit, if it was done correctly, or in this case, if the construction resulted in a violation of a zoning ordinance, then it gets enforced.
So we're really on board with all of this.
Well, I think
mean-
I will tell you, the important thing that I'm learning tonight for the first time is we've got somebody with direct evidence
Right.
that there is been construction interior of the house with photographs or with testimony that can do that. I've been looking for that for the last 2 weeks. That's why I had someone watch.
I thought it was emailed. I'm pretty sure whenever it was on that group, the whole packet with the permit that wasn't filled in.
interior
All yeah,
photos.
it was pictures outside, and I think doors locked off from the outside, shut off, that were modified. Plus, I think maybe some electrical meters, I think, or something that were sent on the
It's
exterior.
just 1 meter, but certainly I'm.
And then
gonna
the
meet with
fence
Jim
is
and
in the
Cindy.
back. Yeah. So all that was
Yes,
that was
yes,
sent.
well,
And then,
now that we have direct evidence to go to the judge.
and then the most alarming, a permit with somebody that's not on there. I mean, that's the only fact that, that's kind of still.
So I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So the interior construction, if in fact that can go to court, that can be resolved one way or the other.
Correct.
And fixed. The fence, you need a permit to put up a fence.
Yeah, we'll ask the
Yes,
judge, look,
yes.
if
And
there's
so
no
that-
permit issued, we'll
and
ask
so
the judge.
that also can go to court?
Yes.
And make them take down the fence, because I've seen that happen on
Yes.
numerous occasions.
Yes.
Where people put up a fence where they wasn't supposed to. So that can be corrected.
Yes,
Okay.
up to the judge now. The
Well,
judge
I
makes the
understand-
decision, but we'll
I
present that to the
understand
judge.
it's all a process. I'm just trying to follow that we're going through the process. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. Devin Petto, 1005 Rue de la Paix, there in this subdivision. I just want to make a note that the day after our last city council meeting, when the owner was aware of the violation, that he then sent out his contractor the next morning early to hurry up, get this job done so it cannot be reversed. So when it does go to court, I think the contractor should be subpoenaed under oath, because he was commissioned and paid. Get in there, eyewitness, go over there early as you can, finish that job so that we cannot reverse it. The city council can't reverse it, a judge can't reverse it. We could rent it out as a duplex. Thank you.
Christine Monastery, 208 Camellia. So, in my mind, this is like a class action suit against the city and against Mr. Pedescalza. I would also like some clarification on it's not a felony, so we're not allowed to go in the house. So what constitutes a felony? The cost?
No, I
Because
think
probably the concrete pad is probably the felony right there.
No.
So I'm a little bit confused on that.
So the felony is determined by what the punishment would be. So, and I'm not a criminal lawyer, I don't profess to be, but depends on if you could be imprisoned for 6 months or more. Can't tell you exactly it's 6 months because I don't do that. That's what determines if it's a felony or a misdemeanor. It's the grade of the punishment.
So you can only enter someone's home if it's a misdemeanor?
No, if it's a felony.
If it's a felony?
But let me say, in this case, we will petition the judge to ask the judge to order an inspection of the house. Now, the defendant would have an opportunity to appear in court, to tell the judge why that shouldn't be allowed. The judge will make a decision. We'll ask the judge to allow an inspection. There will be an interior inspection of the house, if the judge allows it.
Why do we spend time making ordinances? Like, what's the point of an ordinance? Why do we have that? If they can't be enforced without a judge signing off on it. It's a waste of our time
Because we're,
to sit up here and make these fictitious laws that can't even be enforced by the city administration.
Ma'am, I'm not suggesting it can't be enforced. What you've got to have is evidence and proof of a violation. With a sworn affidavit and sworn.
You have proof of a violation with the parking pad. You have proof of a violation with the fence. You have plenty of evidence to start enforcing the ordinances that are on our books. So I'm not understanding what you're saying, Andre. I'm sorry, but I just don't understand what y'all are saying.
The fence doesn't make it a duplex. The parking spot in the front doesn't make it a
Ditch the
duplex.
duplex. Get that out of your mind. What about the concrete pad? Enforce that ordinance. What about the fence? Enforce that one. And then if you have to go to court for the division of the duplex, then by all means do that. But you have plenty of things that you can be enforcing right now, and you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. But you sure want to enforce it on these people. You got a phone call the second they broke ground, but nobody got a call when this man, Mr. Joe Petascalza, let him take his son back to St. Tammany, his business too. I mean, I'm sorry. We can't go to St. Tammany and pull this.
No.
The
That's all
pad,
I got.
the pad is not going to be a violation. Aesthetically, it might not be pleasing to you. It does.
Violation of the ordinance, not the permit that I saw. There's nothing on there.
The pad will not be a violation. Aesthetically, you may not like it. If it had been a circle drive, they would have liked it. Someone would have liked it. The fence, yes.
There's, yeah. I
You know, it's like the criminal system. Innocent until proven guilty. Now we have proof. Ms. Greco is going to sign an affidavit. And now we can go to the judge.
Go ahead.
Resolution number 1.
A resolution to approve Holy Ghost Parish Fair Committee to hold its annual parish fair on October 25th, 26th, 27th, 2024, within the boundaries of Magnolia Street from West Colorado to Railroad Track and Northwest Railroad Avenue from West Colorado to Railroad Track. Larissa Mears.
On behalf of Holy Ghost Catholic Church, 601 North Oak Street. We're just here to ensure that we're following all codes and regulations in preparation for our yearly parish fair.
Okay. Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this particular item? Excuse me. Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Resolution number 2.
A resolution authorizing Holy Ghost Parish Fair Committee to serve, sell, or otherwise handle alcohol on Friday, October 25th, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, October 26th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, October 27th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., within the boundary set. Larissa Mears.
On behalf of Holy Ghost Catholic Church. 601 North Oak Street.
Anyone from the public on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
No. Resolution number 3.
A resolution authorizing Holy Ghost Parish Fair Committee to obtain a waiver of the open container law for the following dates and times: Friday, October 25th, 2024, from 5 to 10, Saturday, October 26th, 2024, from 9 to 10, and Sunday, October 27th, 2024, from 9 to 6, within the boundaries. Ms. Mears.
Thank you. Larissa Mears on behalf of Holy Ghost Church, 601 North Oak Street.
Anyone from the public? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 4.
A resolution for approval of final acceptance, substantial completion for the Airport East Utility Connection, project number 616-12408. Mitchell.
Yes, Mitchell Roniger, Spangler Engineering. This is related to the extension of water and sewer lines off of Industrial Park Boulevard to the infield of the airport.
Okay. Anyone from the public on this item? Any questions or concerns from anyone from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Resolution number 5.
A resolution to approve the mayor to enter into a contract with Robinson Dozer Work LLC for demolishing services at 501 West Coleman Street, Hammond, Louisiana, in the amount of $44,500. RFP 24-26. Mayor?
You have Hyperlink, the bids that had come in. The low bid was non-responsive after he was trying to call Hall's Welding. Mr. Isaac Robinson is second lowest bid. He has the contract, and he is good to go.
Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item? So, Mayor, this building is unusable. Unusable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Look, Mr. Mayor, driveway removable. Did you see that? Explain that to me, please.
You talking about on this demo?
Yes, sir.
He should be responsible for taking everything off of that property. He's actually in negotiation right now, or working with the company that's going to come in and take the carpet and the tile out because they have some asbestos on it. So it should be a cleared lot when Isaac's finished.
Okay. And then talk about the backfill.
You should dress it up to where it's going to be like it is now, you know, level with everything around it.
Is that in the bid? Is that in the bid written in there?
Isaac's done a lot of work for the city. He
Yeah,
knows.
it's in the bid. And let me tell you why I say this. We're getting these houses tore down in the community. And the problem that we have, they're not removing the concrete. The ground is uneven. And so now when it's time for someone to keep the grass up or cut the grass, they going in there tearing up their lawnmowers. And I just want you to say it on record. So we haven't had no houses tore down in a long time. So I want to be said on record that everything that we doing to this building, that's how it should be for every house that the city tear down in the community. That's all. I just wanted to be said on record.
You're right, because in the past, they've actually left steps in front of a house that was there or a pad on the side, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to be said on the record.
So what happened with this Hall's Welding and Fab bid? Did he just put a bid out and just didn't respond?
Sometimes folks just underbid, and when he realized you may have underbid or didn't realize that he had to do some removal of the tile and the carpet, he just didn't respond when called.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Resolution number 6.
A resolution to purchase a Kubota M5-111 HDC-1 tractor with a 60-inch diamond side rotary mower for a total, amount of $98,584.06. Star Equipment will be the delivering dealer. State contract number 440025216 and contract number 440002768. Mayor?
This is on state contract. The state contract number, first number is going to be the contract for the tractor, and the second number is going to be the contract for the mower. And this should be ready for delivery, I believe. How long do you think, Charlie?
Good afternoon, y'all. It's Charlie Salino, Star Equipment, 42254 East I-55 Service Road. We do have the tractor in stock, but the mower is the problem. The mower is, talked to them today, they're 14 to 16 weeks out, which that's going to put it right here in the middle of December. When the mower comes in, we do assemble it. So depending on the holidays and everything, it's looking like it's going to be delivered right after the first of the year. And after it comes in, we do assemble everything and get it delivered, and we do take the next step and take it out to the operators and train them on that piece of equipment to make sure the operator knows everything and all the levers and everything about it to operate it at the sufficient operation.
Yes, sir. This is gonna be an air conditioning unit?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, 'cause it's too hot now to be out there just working.
Okay. Whenever we get it, you want to come out and take a ride in it?
No, sir.
Come on now.
I'll be okay.
I wanted you to.
I'm fine.
No problem, sir.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Pleasure of the council. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, congratulations to Star Equipment for this state contract. My question to the council, though, council president and the rest of the council, is do you all know the balance right now in our checking account? The city's checking account? Any one of you? Okay. So in 1 month, since the new fiscal year, on equipment and services, we've spent $1,051,616.85. Each time we have someone get a bid, purchase equipment, Mr. Sal gets up and asks, are we supporting local people? Which I agree with that. But at some point, you have to ask, what is our bank account? That's your responsibility. You are the fiscal agent responsible for the money that we, the taxpayers, are sending out. The administration tell you what they want to buy, what services they want to procure, but none of you can answer that question. When was the last time you got a report? I recall at the beginning of all your seats, Councilman DeVituro was asking for a quarterly report about the stance of our money. This is our money. Do you know how much you have in your personal checking account and savings account?
Yep.
Yeah. So you should know how much we have in our account for the city. So my request is, at the next council meeting, please, can you let us know how much we have in our bank account? Thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, we would not ask for these purchases if we didn't have the money and we didn't have a balance in the account that we could operate the city. So,
It's public record, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Can be looked up anytime.
And if anyone of the council ever asks Laura, I'm sure she'll gladly tell you what the balance is.
All right.
Public record. But as citizens, we have a right to know at any given point. I don't have to make a request to the administration to know how much we have in the bank. I'm not alleging that we don't have the money to make any payments that you request. My simple question was, do you know? That's your responsibility at any given point to answer that question to us. I'm not gonna go do a public record when this is a public meeting and I'm asking at a public meeting, simply, how much do we have in our account?
Well, I don't know.
So that's no accusation to anything or anyone. But my grandmother did say, a hit dog will holler. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Okay. So please, at the next council, even if I'm not here, just give us a report of what we have in the bank. They may not make a request either, but we have a right to know. So when we get to the end of the fiscal year and capital improvements have not been done, then we can't say we don't know where the money went. Follow the money. That's all I'm simply saying.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Get a motion on this particular item.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman DeVitterio?
Aye.
Ms. Wells, I would definitely send for that information and have it provided for the citizens when they come to the next council meeting.
Andre, how do we, in that report that we requested and voted unanimously, like every quarterly for the financials, how do we enforce that being produced and given us? That was actually voted
Yeah,
a while
I mean, I
back.
would-
I don't think I've seen one since it was in.
I'm trying to, I think it was a resolution.
Yeah. So can you enforce those or no?
Well,
It's
no,
just-
resolutions are not as enforceable as an ordinance. So you need to pass an ordinance that would require
Okay.
periodic reporting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that, yes, so you need to have an ordinance to have it.
Well, it'll be on the next meeting.
Yeah. We'll change it to an ordinance, I guess.
Resolution number 7.
A resolution, one, accepting a $277,225 grant from the Lake Pontchartrain Basin Restoration Program to rehabilitate Lift Station 22, which serves the Woodbridge subdivision and surrounding area, and Lift Station 45, which serves the Elmwood Park subdivision and surrounding area. Number 2, approving a cash match of $103,940. And 3, authorizing the mayor or his designee to complete and sign related documents. The rehabilitation of these lift stations is included in the city's 5-year capital improvement plan. Mayor?
As Lisa stated, this is a grant from the Lake Pontchartrain Basin Restoration Program for lift station 22 and 45. We have a 25% match, a little bit over, maybe 27, of $103,940. And this will help us out as we are trying to consistently rehabilitate our lift stations yearly.
Anyone from the public on this item?
Deborah Swinson, 12 Ravenwood Street in Hammond, Louisiana. I'm a resident of Woodbridge subdivision. I do have a question. Does this involve also help out Whitmore subdivision, our neighbor subdivision, since it said surrounding areas?
Whitmore's lift station 21, and that lift station will be in the next project along with the lift station at Lincoln Park.
Okay, I just didn't know what the surrounding area was. But I also want to say thank you for this, because I didn't realize this was going on, but I do appreciate y'all keeping up with this. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Resolution number 8.
A resolution to open an investigation into the building department office regarding any and all matters related to permits under Section 2-06 of the city's charter, hiring an attorney to conduct the investigation pursuant to Section 4-02E of the city charter, and obtaining an independent audit of the building department under Section 2-07 of the city charter, selecting a certified public accountant or firm pursuant to Section 2-07 to conduct the audit, and authorizing the lawyer and accountant to coordinate and work together regarding the investigation and the audit. Councilman Divatario.
And this comes from the recent incident, obviously, with the permit that was issued regarding Rue Chalet. You know, a lot of the residents brought this up to my concern, which I'm concerned myself with a permit that was false, and it was actually provided by, public office. And so it's I know if in my profession or anybody's profession, on a professional level, that if this was done, it would be wrong, and there would be some consequences, some accountability. It's also concerning that what do we not know about that has gone on by mistake, intentionally, accidentally, or where, however. And I think it's something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to figure out what really happened and went on with the permit that was presented, the document. I don't even know what you want to call it, but the supposedly permit that was presented to this homeowner that went ahead and started doing construction on that slab beforehand. The permit was false or not filled out in many ways. So and that was, some of the residents may be here to speak about that tonight. I know they've called me and talked to me about it and had concerns about the issue and wanted to see some type of accountability. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I put it on the agenda to bring it to a vote. If that's, and I think that would actually help out to see what's going on really in there, and losing a city planner, losing a coordinator or whatever, it seems like we have some issues over there. So, go ahead. And then on another note, I mean, earlier the airport deal, this guy bringing up this, I don't really know what's the real story with that, but it seems like there's some type of policy that needs to be put in place, or some type of improvement in the management to not have a slab being built before lease in place or whatever. I'm not involved in that so much, but I'd imagine there's two sides to that story, and I think there's probably some truth on both sides, but it shouldn't happen. Like, it seems like there's a problem when it keeps continuing to happen in every issue and every aspect of the city.
My name is Sylvester Marshall, Senior. I live at 2503 Rue Simone, Hammond, Louisiana. I have a question. It seems that there is a problem with permits, but what I want to know is there a check and balance here? Because it seems I'm walking to a desk, getting a permit, and going out the door. It seems to me that there should be, the clerk at the desk may take the information, but there should be someone somewhere sitting and certifying permits before they go out. Because that way you would have a person saying, okay, this is an illegal, we can't do this. And
I agree.
The question is, do we have that?
The bottom line with this is, it's the responsibility of the building department to provide the permits and to check these things out. Ultimately, it's on me. So what really happens here is you have the ability of people to do what was said earlier, to just go on and take it upon themselves that they're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to get it moving forward, and they're going to go with it. We need to stop it and catch it.
Then,
unfortunately, there's procedures that we need to follow once that starts.
If I do what I want to do sometime, I'll go to jail.
I understand.
I don't like jail.
I don't either.
But it seems to me too much going on.
Vic Cuvier, 802 Rue Kane, Villa West. I want to preface my remarks by saying about 20 or so years ago, when two of you were still in high school, I know it because I had you in some of my classes, I started covering the city council for the Baton Rouge Advocate. We were still meeting in the old courtroom up there. That's how long ago it's been. And for about 10 or 15 years, as long as the Advocate wanted to cover this meeting, I did it. And since then, I've been watching the meetings or attending some of them. And in all those years, the first time I know of a permit problem was this incident in Villa West. It was wrong. A mistake was made. All of us make mistakes. Sam, I bet even you've made a mistake in your life once or twice. I know I've made many. So my point is this. I cannot see spending money on an accountant, a lawyer, or whatever else, an auditor. We talked all night about saving the city's money. It's going to be expensive. These people charge a lot of money. An incident happened. A mistake was made. From what I can gather, the administration is addressing this issue, and I think it will be taken care of. Sometimes, and I know this happens in our state government, people decide that they're going to give a solution to a problem that doesn't even exist. I haven't really heard of that many permit problems before. And I know there's been some problems with personnel. But it just seems to me like we're going to spend a whole lot of money for something that can be resolved. I've always believed that reasonable people with reasonable discussions can come to reasonable conclusions. Sit down, talk to the May administration, say, what can we do about this without spending money on all these professionals? Resolve the issue. And I think we're all aware that this is not going to happen again. All of us who live in Villa West are mad about it happening. And we don't even know the provenance of that permit that you waived here at the last meeting. We don't even know where that thing came from. It was a fraud that happened. It was a mistake. But I hope and I pray and I think it will be corrected. And I think we can do that without spending money on all these professionals. Let's don't make it's already a mistake. I think it is being corrected. Let's don't make a big brouhaha over it And let's don't politicize this. That's just my suggestion to you. Thank you.
Vic, that permit came from the city. That's where that permit came, and I think Miss Cindy has a copy of it as well, too, public record. And I don't know, you explained to me, how do you investigate yourself? Let me know how you can do that if you can investigate it, and that's one thing. And secondly, how many developments have you been involved with in developing and dealing with any permitting office, and how many buildings have you built in your life, and how many times you go to the building department and do anything with the building department?
How many developments? I'm not in that business at all.
Okay,
I
then.
don't plan
So,
to get
all right.
into it, but
Prime
I
example.
do make myself very much aware of what's going on in our community. I'm one of the few people left who still read the newspaper every day, and I pay attention to what's going on. I mean, I don't have to be a builder to know that.
That might be your problem. That might be your problem right there, because there's not much to read in that newspaper, so that may be your problem. So you need to get out a little bit more and get into the real world, but I appreciate it.
It's unfortunate sometimes that personalities become the issue here. You know, sometimes it gets kind of out of hand.
Right and wrong.
Citizens deserve better than that. Thank you.
Sal Nicolosi, 3607 Highway 190 West, Hammond, Louisiana. You know, Miss Tracy had a pretty good question there. Where's the money? Every time I come up here, I hear they're spending money galore. Nobody knows how much we got. I mean, here we are, 5 council people. Apparently, there's a miscommunication big time. You know, yeah, I want to see our local people get served, because that is the backbone of our community. If I have a problem, I'm going to call on all the council people, not just mine, all of them. But the big problem right now is I've seen so many good people who work for the city that don't work no more. Now, I don't know what the problem is, but all I can say is one thing. The mayor needs to sit down with these council people and start getting some information where y'all all on the same page. I mean, you know, I know the mayor has the authority to do a lot of things, and he has that responsibility. But also, the council has a big authority, because we the people elected y'all. So, the mayor, in my opinion, y'all his boss. Y'all might not like being his boss, but y'all are. And you know, we've been spending, like Tracy brought out, over $1 million some. I mean, that's a lot of taxpayers' money. My money, your money, everybody in this room. So, but I don't know where that money's coming from. I don't know where it's going. I have no idea. I was hoping to ask y'all or some of it. Miss Tracy did it for me, because I want to know. I want to know what every quarter. Y'all should have a report from the mayor or from Andre saying, hey, this is how much money we got, this is how much money we spent. We can't go buying, you know, $1 million or $500,000 machine. Last 2 months ago, we paid $370,000 for a machine, a sweeper, okay? So guess what happened? I'm driving down 190 West, and this sweeper, brand new, passed me up. I slowed him down. I said, where you going? I'm going to Baton Rouge, just broke. Really? $370,000 1 week and it's broke? Now, the mayor wanted to operate it, but I was under the impression that that company that we purchased it from was coming here and train the people. What happened? Y'all got any answers? Y'all the council. I don't want, you know, the council got to give me the answers. I know what the mayor's going to say already, but I want to know from y'all.
Mr. Sal,
what do you feel about it?
I didn't vote on it, Mr. Sal. I didn't vote on it.
I voted on to leasing it or hiring a company quarterly, so we wouldn't have to be in charge of the liability of the maintenance, training somebody, having to fix it when it's broke, let it do it, and that was mine. I'm for a street sweeper, but not the way we did it. That's not at all. That's where.
But there was other options, but here again, y'all are the mayor's boss. Until y'all get that in y'all head, the mayor's gonna say, hey, this is what I'm doing, okay? Let's look at it. So, I'd like to, hear from Ms. Gonzalez. What do you think about that $370,000 machine that was going back to Baton Rouge because it was already broke within a week?
Well, since I'm not the administrator of the city, I don't know what happened to that
Oh,
item.
okay.
But, hold on, please let me finish.
All right,
That
I didn't
was-
ask all the administrator. I'm asking, what do you think about it? You just bought a $370,000 machine. They ain't even went out and serviced nobody, and it's already broke.
Well, I'm pretty sure we have a warranty on it, so I'm hoping that they are using the warranty to fix it.
Who's that?
The city, the administrator of the city.
Apparently not, because they was going to Baton Rouge. I told you that. They was on their way to Baton Rouge.
Well, perhaps that's where the person authorized as the warranty repair person is. I mean, we don't know the answer to these questions, and you don't want the mayor to tell you the answer.
Mayor
to
don't
the
have to
question.
tell me. I already know.
Well, tell me, because I don't know, because I'm not the one.
You're right, they got a warranty on it. But that's not the issue. But the issue is it broke 1 week, $370,000 down to 2 1 week. Steve, I would like to know your opinion.
My opinion is we're talking about the building department, and you're talking about a street sweeper. So
I know.
That's my opinion, Sal.
I understand. We'll go back to the building. We'll go back to it. But I just wanted to bring that out while I was up here. Now, for the building, I already said, y'all the people. Y'all sit down with the mayor. Call him, making a meeting with him or whatever. And yeah, we got permits that are not being issued correctly. We have good people that worked in the permit office that are no longer there. We got good people all around. We got a gentleman behind me. He was the city planner. Next thing I know, he's gone. Did you know he was leaving? No. Did you know he was leaving?
Did not.
Did you? Did you? See? The mayor knew.
I'm not his boss, Sal.
What happened? Did y'all ask what happened?
You might talk about it since
He will. As soon as I walk away, he will. But that's not what I'm talking about, Miss Gonzalez. Mr. Andre is the attorney for the city of Hammond. Okay? So when y'all got a big issue, you got to go ahead. I'm getting ready to close. I'm close. We're getting ready to, do some more legal work and whatever has to be done. Call a meeting with him. And call the mayor with him at the same time. That's all I'm asking y'all to do for the people. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Andrews, I'm Edward Campany. I live at 208 South Olive Street, Hammond, Louisiana. The building department should be investigated. The permitting process should be investigated. I'm not here to talk about me, but thank you. Good night.
Wait, excuse me. When you say it should be investigated, so you're talking about we need better policy and procedures, or you're talking about there's some criminal activity going on? I don't like the word investigated.
I think you should look at the way that building permits have been issued over the last 10 years.
Policy and procedure.
Taking a closer look at the permits that have been issued.
Policy and procedure. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just asking, do we not have good policy and procedures in place?
Have you been here all night? I mean, have you heard anything? I'm just trying to say.
I'm just asking him a question. He used the word investigation. I'm asking him to clarify that. That has nothing to do.
I mean,
so policy and procedure.
Policies and
Thank you very
procedures
much. I
should be looked
appreciate
at.
it. Thank
he
you.
said it. Yeah.
My name is Bobby Carter. I live at 2503 Rue Simone, Villa West, Hammond, Louisiana. I'm speaking tonight about the permits. I was trying to help this man and his wife because they had an illegal wood cutting business next to their home. In your district, I called and spoke with you about it. Somehow or another, it got up here before the city council. The mayor instructed the people to shut down the business because the permit had been issued illegal. It was zoned residential, wood cutting should be commercial or wherever, not in somebody's backyard. The mayor instructed the people to shut down the business, etc., recommended a place for them that they could go. Okay. The people never shut the business down. Now, I'm sure the mayor's busy. He ain't got time to go check on wood cutting business and this, that, and the other. I'm not taking up for the mayor. I'm just telling the story, okay? The people never shut down the business, and I communicated with the mayor. Then he told me that the man needed to talk to the city attorney. Okay. I found the city attorney, Brad Stevens, talked to Brad Stevens, sent him videos. This man put cameras and stuff outside his house. Long story short, this has been over a year ago. This illegal wood cutting business is still going on. And I told the mayor last week, I said, the business still going on. The man live in his house, got to pay taxes come December. And this illegal wood cutting business don't give the city of Hammond out a dime.
Let me ask you something, though. Let me ask you something real quick. When this came up, did he not get an occupational license from the city? Did he or did he not?
They got a license, and the license was issued in error, wrong license, because it was not zoned commercial.
But he was issued an occupational license over there from the city, so
It
he
was-
thought
the
so. He
license
thought
was
he had
issued.
so he thought he had the right to do a cutting. So it's not his fault if he goes ahead and goes to the city and they give him an occupational license. So this is where I'm saying, see what I was referring to as where you've been, because this has been going on for years, and it's the same thing. This it went in my district, so I didn't get to hear about it much. This particular incident happened in my district, and so it's in there. But we heard about this. There's problems going on all the time. If you build, develop, and everything else, there's a problem over there. It's obviously the problem. There's a paper. There was no waving around a permit. There was a permit given from the city. I ain't going to make that up. I mean, it was sent, and they were notified, and it was emailed, and it was said, stop work right now, stop them if they don't have a permit, and then they rushed and gave a permit that wasn't any false. You can't get any more simpler and direct as what happened, and here we are right now still doing this. And there's a problem going in that. I mean, you heard from another guy in here that just said he was in there. And he said there's a problem in there. He don't need to spell it out. That's what you get an investigator to go look at and see what the heck's going on. You got to hire somebody. I mean, city can't investigate themselves.
And Ms. Bobby,
Well, yes, sir.
you so right, but this the thing that's not gonna be said. The building permit office, they told him how to go get the permit. He didn't go get the permit on his own because he was doing it without one. So
Exactly.
yeah, so what's been
He was summoned to go get the permit.
yeah, and so they told him how to get it, and after he got it,
You're right.
yeah, so that would need to be said. So both of them was wrong. And what I'm saying is the city shouldn't have told him how to get it. And then after the city told him the city instructed him how to get the permit and showed him how to set up a LLC, told him all of this. See, all this need to be said. This come out the building permit office.
Okay, well, I didn't know about
I know about it. So all this will come out the building permit office. Now all of a sudden, when you all got involved, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, when you all got involved, that's when it became an issue. Nobody else, but I'm talking about the community. Nobody said nothing. When you all got involved, and see, that's where the favoritism come in at. And we right. Everybody know we got a issue in the building permit office. I've been crying about the building permit office since I've been here, and everybody know our bills. Everybody know what I do. So guess what? We know it's a problem. The gentleman stay in your community. Yeah, that's easy to say. about taxpayers' money. You know, that really sound good. How long I been crying about taxpayers' money? You know what? And I don't blame him. He's supposed to take up for the mayor. But in the meantime, no, the mayor, and ain't nobody gonna say it. The mayor the one creating all these issues because guess what? It's favoritism. That guy would have never got in trouble until you got in it. When you got in it, no, I'm saying you ain't do nothing wrong. But what I'm saying,
No. Anytime I speak,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right.
yeah. So you didn't do nothing wrong. But what I'm saying is, you know what? Everybody need this. You know, yeah, the mayor now, we got a different relationship. But if I have an issue in my community, why I can't come and sit here on the mic, and I tell everybody, I don't believe in private meetings. On the mic, say the problem that I have, and let's solve the problem. If it's my problem, let me know. If it's their problem, let them know. That's all I ask for. In the same administration, see, everybody quiet now. 2 duplexes were built in my district. The same administration that's in here now. Bobby Mitchell, I called names out, gave out permits. The mayor know what was going on, but everything was so quiet, because guess why? It's in old Ragley District 3. So ain't nobody gonna say nothing about District 3, but I'm gonna always say something about it. What nothing said, single houses was built into a duplex. I sat there listening to Andre get that big old speech out. When you deal in a duplex, the square footage supposed to be the same. Andre, that's on that paper. But if you go look at them permits, that square footage is not like that. So stop sitting here telling these lies, which sound good for the public, but tell the truth. How many times have you ever went out, and I know that's not your job, you're a lawyer, that you done went out, the mayor done went out and did inspections. See, the problem is, when it comes to certain people, they know who to send out to do those inspections. Just like that, y'all call it a driveway, I call it a parking lot. Here you gonna send, and they just gave us, where that paper at? They just gave us this here paper today, when we should have had this here paper when we first became a city councilman. What are the duties of each department head? Robert Williams inspecting a concrete driveway. I've been told them, take that off. The sir was talking about taxpayers' money. Hell, they spend 18 hours setting up a driveway, taxpayers' money, for people, for private people. Let those people pay to get those driveways set up. The city councilman know I said this before, but you know what? Yeah, everybody gonna be quiet when I speak, because guess what? They know I was right. If we would have did that when I said it, Robert Williams wouldn't have had to go out. So all the fingers point at the mayor. And so, yeah, he got his little clique in here, gonna talk good for him. You see how the city councilman do. Sam, I'm talking now. But you know what? Right is right, and wrong is wrong. Thank you, Ms. Bobby, for bringing that up.
I would just like to say this. My observation of that permit office over there, because I went with my sister-in-law about a tree on property next to her, and the tree limbs hanging over her roof. She had to spend her money to have this tree limb, big tree limb, cut from over her house on property that's unkept. The people don't care nothing about it. You cut everybody else's property and tear down their darn houses, so why you can't help my sister-in-law, see? So I know it's an issue over there, and my recommendation would be they need to be trained. That's the recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'm Michael Peary. I live at 903 Rue St. Michael in Villa West. We absolutely have to investigate this. This is unbelievable. I mean, we can't be grading our own papers. It's just not going to work out. And, 2 weeks ago, we sat here and we had conversations and everything about the proof that neighbors already had. And at that point, it wasn't mentioned that, you'd get an affidavit or, all this, and then all meeting long, it's, let's follow this process. So we have things in place, and it's, obviously, we've heard quite a few things that process isn't being followed. We have to investigate this, because I believe this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. And whether it's, people that are stretched out too thin or doing it incorrectly or whatever the case may be, I don't care. But this has got to be rectified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah Swinson, 12 Ravenwood Street in Hammond. There's a home on my street. It's at 210 Ravenwood. It was damaged very badly after Ida. The owner eventually sold it to an investor. The investor began working on it, and he was originally told, he told me this, that by Mr. Mitchell, that he could get his own, I guess, crew chief or, you know, construction guy to do all the electrical and this and that'll be okay. Well, then Mr. Mitchell was no longer in the office, and the new gentleman came in, and he was then told that he needed to have an electrician, he needed to have a plumber, he needed to have all these separate, you know, workmen do the work. And that is why this house is sitting still, because I don't know if he doesn't have the money, but he is still not finished. And he said that, you know, I'm assuming it's money, but it's still sitting at 210 Ravenwood. There is a yellow permit on the door, and no one's checking up on this permit. It would seem as though there's a process to come back and check and see on the permits, you know, periodically, like a tickler system. Like I worked in a law office for years. We had a tickler system. You know, we check on it every so often, what's going on with this project and that project. So I'm just letting you know that that is just one of the things that I have observed that have gone on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I recall not that long ago, we got a computer system, which was going to just totally change everything and make it wonderful to track everything and everything. And I do see that they are using that to apply for permits. I am curious, is that system working like we were told it was going to? Because it was an expensive system, and we had the entire building department here asking to implement that. So I hear you. I mean, Devon has been talking since the beginning about having a sign-in sheet for who has come into the building department and, you know, different ways of making it better. And I think that that is what we're talking about, is policies and procedures. Are they being followed? Are they in place first? Are they being followed? Those are questions we don't know. As with all investigations, the last time we did an investigation, my concern is scope, cost. Do we need an attorney? As an attorney, I will say attorneys overcharge for services. Is this better as an accountant who can do it, or someone who's skilled and versed and educated in planning, as you know, an independent contractor can come in and tell us what are we doing wrong? I don't love the idea of investigating everything that we've done wrong for 20 years, right? What can we do now to fix what the problems that are identified and that people are telling us are the problem? And we might even have this system already in place. We're just not using it because we paid a hefty price for this really great software that's supposed to have all these follow-ups, like your tickler system you're talking about. I don't know if those are used, and maybe someone needs to investigate to tell us that. I will concede that. But I think we need to kind of narrow the scope and talk about what we're talking about. Is it going forward, or are we fussing about everything that happened 10 years ago?
Tracy Wells, Mooney Avenue. First, the question is, because I don't think it was answered, Mr. Mayor and Council President, how was that permit on Rue Chalet issued? I've never heard an answer for that yet. How was that permit issued?
It was this is the driveway. There was not a permit. It was not a permit for the house.
Okay.
There was a permit for the driveway.
But even for the driveway, the owner's name is wrong. There's no scope of work. A signature electronically granted for someone who's deceased is on there. How was that permit issued?
It was issued by the clerk.
By the clerk, thank you. Second, you have your former planner, who I personally dealt with on business in that office, who was very thorough in following rules, regulations, policies, and procedures. I don't know if he was fired or if he resigned, but that young man said you need to do an investigation. Councilman Leon drilled, is it policies or procedures? A rule of thumb, because that's what I do for a living, is when you pull one red thread, be careful of what you uncover. This is not past 10 years, Councilwoman Gonzalez. This is Rue Chalet, which was issued within the last 60 days?
August 2nd.
August
Was on the
2nd.
permit, yeah.
So we do have an issue. You don't have, or didn't have, I'm not sure, a building official. Now you don't have a city planner. You don't have a planning coordinator. It sounds as if you have a skeleton crew now. So how are your I's being dotted and your T's being crossed? There's nothing wrong with an investigation. There's nothing wrong with an independent audit. That's called fiscal responsibility. It goes back to the same things, whether it's policies or procedures, or as the young lady said, a permit was issued illegally. Hello, illegally, that's a key word for somebody needs to be in trouble. I wouldn't ask the city planner to stand up here and incriminate himself at all. But if he's telling you an investigation needs to be done, that's because he's seen things and he's heard things and he's aware of things that has taken place in that office. Whether or not the administration knows it, whether or not the city attorney knows it, and apparently you don't know it, but it's your decision tonight of where or how you're going to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wills.
And then you state about the money and the cost about hiring an investigation, but how much money is that cost that we may lose if we do not fix a problem that gets worse, and the city may be liable, costing us a lot more tax dollars. So sometimes you have to spend a little money to make sure things are done right, or if things are being done wrong, to prevent liabilities down the road.
No, I agree with that. I think but the scope.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Like I said, this was kind of like a
That's what I was gonna
discussion,
ask
and we can
Andre,
get
is
detailed with it.
We're authorizing an investigation, but then we have perhaps another thing that narrows down what the scope is, so that there's bounds in there for an attorney or a CPA to talk about what they're actually doing and what their goal is. Because this doesn't give us a goal.
This was kind of
And
discussion right here.
I want to know what a goal is.
This is kind of a discussion right here to get it like set up for like the next meeting to kind of have something. This was just something to get it on there so we can take a vote on, to where we can kind of move forward with. I'm open for whoever. It might be Johnny Smith, might be this one, that one. So therefore there would be a discussion between now and the next meeting, by email. We all can't get together or whatever it may be, but to discuss, some of the scope and kind of get a draft and kind of get it together so we can put it on the table the next time. But yes, this was to get it in gear to move forward.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I agree with you saying
Yeah.
that, this is just a start. I'm going to interject just a little something here. I've been in administration for over 45 years. If I do not personally see where a lawyer or a CPA and all of that's going to help anything with this situation. You have a problem. I think everybody in this room knows that there's a problem with policy and procedure in the building department. I think we've done an investigation. We can skip that part. We know we got a problem. I can't imagine anybody thinking we don't. So we do need to move forward. The way I've seen things move forward in these cases in my lifetime is bringing in a consultant to develop the policy and procedures and move the department forward as quickly as possible. We could spend months or God knows how long doing all these investigations and try to find out what happened historically and virtually shut down the building department. As a growing city, we don't want to do that. I feel like we want to pull our pants up and get moving as quick as we can. And if you bring in the right consultant, you can start to develop policies and procedures right away. Well, it's easy to say shut it down. We talked about money umpteen times tonight. You know what? Where do you think that money comes from? Money comes from people coming in here and getting permits and building things and keeping things moving forward. I really, again, it's only my opinion. I think a lot of what, Sam has brought up, I think there's got to be some kind of a conglomeration, or not conglomeration, but some way of moving this together to where we move forward as quickly as possible and we spend the least amount of money, and the outcome is a department that has policies and procedures, something tangible, something that we can hold on to, we can touch, we can feel, we can look at, and we can operate under.
And I agree with the growth and all, but this is the deal here. I notified to stop that duplex situation, whatever's going on, to take your time with that. The city of Hammond and Villa West was not losing out on $1, but they had to, they could have destroyed some of their values down the road, and in return, we'll lose tax dollars when the values of those properties devalue because of a careless mistake that could have been taking their time with. That wasn't Walmart trying to come in, so let's hurry up and go issue this guy a permit without taking our time and figuring out what's going on. We also have the parish to lean on during this time when we don't have none to go through permits, because that's kind of where originally was discussed, because Pete Lentini, the death, and that's who we were supposed to kind of go through while we get our things together. That obviously did not happen, and that's where we're at right now. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I think we're in the right direction with Robert Morgan. He took care of an elderly family member for years. He took off 2 years, he retired, and he's ready to come back to work, and he's on contract with us, and we can actually negotiate for him to come back as the building official, but he's actually the building official for us, and he knows the process well.
One second, Frank. Andre, I have a question for you. No, Frank, you can stay right there. 1 second. I got a question for Andre. Okay, as Sam stated earlier, that this is up for discussion. So my question is, if we make an amend to this, to the resolution to open investigations in the building department office regarding any and all matters related to permits under the section 2-06 of the city charter, hiring a consultant firm to look into this matter, to check the policies and procedures, to give us updates on whatever the policy and procedure needs to be and whatever change that needs to be done. That'll be moving away from the attorney at this point and a certified public accountant at this point. Just a consultant firm who specializes in this area. That would be my motion. But I'm gonna let Frank say what he had to say. That would be my motion to amend it to that.
Frank Victoria, 912 West Morris Avenue. I just kind of wanted to comment. It sounds like y'all are communicating together and asking questions, and that's all good. And I kind of want to speak to the public too, because I know there's people here today that don't normally necessarily come to these meetings. And they read in the paper and, accounts of it, because at the last account that was in the paper of y'all's meeting, it was a divided council is how it was described. I was here at that meeting. I didn't hear divisions. I heard Councilman Leon, Councilman Gonzalez, Councilman Andrews, DiVittorio, and Wells all I didn't hear any opposition to the crowd's concerns about those issues that have arisen. Earlier tonight, there was someone who was a journalism teacher at my high school come up and try to shush y'all from asking questions. We wonder what's wrong with education and journalism and reporting today, and you've got a journalism teacher trying to shush y'all. Y'all's job is to ask questions. Y'all should be asking questions. Y'all should have confidence to ask questions. And asking questions doesn't mean there's a crime. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. It's supposed to be a cumulative effort, but it's also supposed to be checks and balances. And as I hear the five of y'all communicating together your concerns and issues to move forward together, I'm glad to hear that. And I hope that continues, and I hope y'all try to get answers. And remember, whatever y'all decide to do in terms of hiring someone to lead an investigation, if y'all decide to do that, or audit or whatever, make sure that y'all keep it where you can define the scope of work. You can define all these terms, but make sure you keep it where that person clearly answers to y'all, so that y'all they're accountable. Y'all are trying to hold people accountable. Not saying there's wrong, but accountable and approve things. So make sure the person that's going to be y'all's eyes and ears knows that they're answering to y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
So, Andre, back to my question of making modifications to this to be able to introduce it. Again, for a consulting firm.
So I guess the big question, I've heard the debate and discussion, are you doing an investigation, or you're hiring a consulting firm to recommend policies and procedures for the department? And I think that's sort of the big question that you'll need to sort out.
Well, inside of that, they will be looking at what we have in place.
They're a consultant, though. I mean, they're not going to really, they're not going to get involved with wrong and right. They're going to get involved in this is how, we're advising you, this is how we should do, okay? And so I'm not arguing with you, but I mean, what I mean is at some point in time, you have to have accountability of what's going on and what has gone on. I'm not talking about 20 years ago. There's enough that in the last 6 months, I mean, so that I know about, and there's a lot of stuff I don't know about. But at the end of the day, I don't understand what's the reserve on if there was something highlighted and going wrong. Cindy, do you mind telling me that story up here about you trying to get the permit? Is that something you want to talk about or not? I mean, to explain how, just how that went down with the permit situation.
Well, I wasn't aware of the protocol
Yeah.
as a citizen,
Yeah.
and I thought I could go in, just like you can walk into the courthouse and they meet, look up the public record, get a copy of it, pay your $2 or whatever the fee is, and be done. But I got a lot of pushback when I asked for a copy of the permit because she said, well, you have to go online and request it. And it's just so much bureaucracy.
Didn't they send you to a different office or
Oh,
something?
yeah.
You said?
Well, they finally gave me the permit because I threw a little fit.
Yeah.
And I took it home, and then I started looking at it, how incomplete it was. So I went back the next morning and asked whose signature it was because it was so faint, because I wanted to talk to the person who actually signed it. And that's when I was sent over to City Hall, and the person I spoke to there told me it was Pete Lentini's signature. Well, I knew he was deceased, and so I asked about, well, you know, the other things, the fact that it had the wrong owners, no scope of work, and I was telling this person that it was a duplex, and she said, well, you have no proof. So I felt like the ranks were closing on me, like I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's kind of why I wanted, you know, it's just, that's what's told to me and as their councilman and everything. And when I see things like that, that's a problem to me as a representative. And that's,
told, well, you have no proof this is a duplex. I said, well, look at Realtor.com.
Yeah.
Well, that's not proof. That could be a mistake. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, ma'am, and you know, and thank you, you know, from even trying the effort to get one. Steve Leon had an issue in December with the building permit office and what they were trying to do in his area. And it wasn't a problem for him. It was a problem for everybody in that area. And these people had to come out during the Christmas holiday, big old meetings, the same thing you all going through. And it's like, it's amazing. And that's, you know, I'm glad Frank brought up about the paper. You know, the paper is so funny. You know, the paper don't tell the truth.
No,
And I wish the paper
articles
would
are
tell the
wrong,
truth.
but,
And he's sitting in here,
yeah, I
so,
know.
but, and it's crazy though, we the same ones vote on the paper.
Yeah.
So it's crazy on us to keep voting on them. You know, I say that, but it's like, when it gonna stop? And Gonzalez, you know, we know it's a problem. No, don't say no 10 years. Ms. Bobby just talked about an issue with the logging, with the cutting of the firewood. So somebody just brought up Bobby Mitchell's name, gave the person, told him, get an electrician, get this, get that. Now guess what? Bobby ain't there, and the mayor, he gonna make everything sound good. The problem is, they know where the problem at, but they ain't not gonna point the finger, because you know what? Everything they want in their district, they get it. So see, if I shut up, I ain't gonna lie, I get everything I want in my district. But the problem is, it's not fair to everybody. You know, it's what you know, who you know. It shouldn't be like that. Gonzalez brought it up. You know what? I've been telling them. That people sign their name. When I go to them federal buildings, I got to sign my name when I'm checking in, and they gonna put the time down, and they gonna put the time I leave it. I've been asking them, telling them from day one being a city councilman, we got an issue over there. Now, look what? The mayor done blamed somebody. 9 times out of 10, they don't work no more. They don't work there no more. We got 3 people out the building now. So, skeleton
Who's
crew.
running the store over there now?
Huh?
Who's running the shop over there?
Right there. Right there. Right there. I asked, okay, I'm glad you said that. Miss Lisa, what did I ask for? I sent you an email. I want to know the contract and how much Robert Morgan make. Did I send that to you, ma'am? For public request? Ma'am, it's been 2 weeks. I'm yet to get it. So, Mr. Mayor, stop saying names and let's have proof of everything. Ms. Gonzalez, you know what's going on, you know, but realize up here, certain city councilmen, they get perks. That's what's taking place. You know, if you own a bar room, if you own this, you own that, you get perks. Ain't that gonna be said. It benefit them.
That's called cronyism.
100% right.
Councilman Wells, you don't shut up and you get everything you want in your district. We work for you. We want to work with you. We work with you. Come on, you know better than that. Look at your park. Look at everything, all the infrastructure we've done there. We work with all of y'all.
Mr. Mayor, I'm glad you said that. All y'all passed by that park. That park been looking like that for 15 years. When I got up here, I'm glad you said that. I asked for nothing but a park. Nothing. That's all I asked for. And you know what I got? I'm still dealing with, every time I ask for something, Ms. Lisa know, I request this, request that. You know, the things that I asked for in the park, Mr. Mayor, yeah, the park look different. It looks totally different. But you know what? It's a fight. I'm talking about tooth, nails, everything from you to Charles, the grant writer. It's a fight, Mr. Mayor, and I'm not gonna tell no lie. I be so tired of asking. I have to ask 10 times, and he'll witness, because guess what? I say, Sam, man, this is what I did today. Oh, man, you still going through that? I said, Sam, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. So, Mr. Mayor, you own the park. You always talk about kids. You love kids so much. That park been looking like that for 15 years.
That park has a brand-new, semi-new playground equipment in the old basketball cover, under the old cover. It has a brand-new basketball pavilion. We bordering it with the stones. We ordered some more stones for you. We're bringing some more equipment in. We're in Lincoln Park as well, Jackson Park doing the same.
Mr. Mayor,
You know that's not true, man.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, you know why we put the stones up? Tell them why we put the stones in there.
Because you did not want a cement concrete barrier like we have in Zumeri.
No, Mr. Mayor, we putting them stones up because your ass took the fence down. You told the boys to go take the fence down.
You want?
Am I lying, Mr. James? You here? Tell him who took the fence down. You work for the recreation department. See, Mr. Mayor, every time you say something, I always have proof.
Yeah, you have proof that you
always
tell us
have
to
proof.
take the fence down.
No, I ain't tell you to
Not
take no
gonna
fence
argue
down.
with
You don't supposed to,
Right.
but you know what?
Come on up, sir.
You the leader of the city.
I'm looking at all the equipment you got in here, the little notebooks that flash things up on the screen. The only problem is you can't read that damn screen back here. I think y'all need to invest some money to put you in a monitor, a big monitor that flashes to the screen that people can read what you're talking about. You flash that little map up of the plot of property, I could tell what was what from seeing it from back there. So my suggestion is spend a little money also to improve what we can see from back here. Monitor.
Gotta stay on
I
top,
agree.
folks.
Yep.
So Frank DiVittorio again, you know, it sounds like, so one thing y'all, just my suggestions, one thing y'all could do is tonight, just if y'all wanted to decide on whether or not to open an investigation, you could decide just to open the investigation. And then I think from the conversation I was hearing between Ms. Gonzalez, you know, at the next meeting, y'all can talk about setting a parameter in terms of someone has to lead the I know everybody hates lawyers, but somebody has to, especially you apparently tonight, but someone has to run the, y'all are all part-time, as many people hopefully know. You know, you're not going to be able to be there to run the operation continuously. So frequently, maybe a lawyer is that, but maybe they're given a very narrow scope in terms of just oversee the consultant or retainer consultant. And that's something y'all can spell out the specifics of at a next meeting when you're talking about who you're hiring, giving them a budget. Lawyer, you've got, this is your job is to supervise this consultant and collect information, and you've got X dollars to spend before you have to come talk to us again. Consultant, we can hire a consultant, that's whatever type of consultant, Mr. Lee, I don't even know who that would be, but whoever. You know, and y'all got to take time to figure all that out. But I think if the inclination is to go forward with an investigation, I think step one is just decide that, and then.
Yeah, you have to get it engaged before we can actually get to the details of it. I mean, I couldn't get a detailed list until we actually have something, and then this is just to move forward, and then we can talk about, that was my suggestion, we could talk about the details, you know, between now and the next meeting.
Okay, so Andre, I'd like to make a motion. And my motion is that we just move forward with opening up an investigation within the next 2 weeks, between correspondence between the 5 of us, be able to lay down the groundwork of actually what we want done and how we're going to do it.
Does that sound, Andre, does that sound good enough as far as the way it was proposed? What'd he say?
Well, I just want to.
Are there any change?
So by using the word investigation, that's a buzzword. Because investigations require 4 votes of the council to open an investigation. So I just want to make sure you're all aware when that. So, yeah, right. So by opening an investigation under the charter, that requires 4 votes. You can certainly open an investigation, and then you can determine the scope at a future meeting. That would be an option.
So you made that motion?
That's my motion.
So it's going to be to move forward with opening an investigation in the building department?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Building department.
And the scope would be determined at future meetings?
Correct.
Okay. That's the motion on the table.
Second.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
And Councilman Leon?
Resolution number 9.
A resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a 1-year agreement with Verizon Wireless Connect. The proposed 1-year agreement is for the Verizon Reveal application and hardware, which will enable the tracking of city vehicles. This for 240 vehicles at a total price of $50,256. Mayor?
This is what we had talked about for a while. We have the ability now to go ahead and move forward with the purchase or the rental of the software. You actually get charged by what you're using, so you don't get the full 240 charge. If you're not using the full 240, they charge you per vehicle. And that being said, we're ready to move forward, Council.
Okay. So this is based upon that amount, but if it's less, that other number would drop.
Yes, sir.
Would decrease. Okay. Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this particular line item? Anyone from the council?
Yes. How many vehicles the city actually own?
Not sure the exact amount, but I would say it's a little more than 240. And this unit price would be $17.45 a unit.
Yeah, I had read all that. So tell me, this gonna be for some of the equipment too? Cause I'm saying, they saying vehicles, but will it be on the equipment also?
He said that there is a part of this software that you can use for assets, equipment.
Okay, for instance, this new tractor we about to get. So we can put it on this new tractor?
Yes, sir. Well, he said that needed to be implemented. Like right now, we can do the vehicles.
Okay.
But yes, that can happen.
Well, we got 240. We probably need to count on how many equipment, what's the total equipment we have in the city? I'm sure it's got to be a lot. It's got to be 5. I mean, I'd imagine with cop cars, with parks and grounds and all these tractors we have and lawnmowers, I guess, of some degree of, I don't know what we want to track, you know, I mean, a lawnmower or just a tractor or whatnot, but it's got to be 300 plus. We have any idea?
Oh, it's over 300, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can increase this.
How many vehicles we have? I was asking Andre, but I ain't seen.
No, yeah.
Anyone else have any questions on this item? Pleasure of the council. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye. Resolution number 10.
A resolution to approve Brady's located at 1110 Southwest Railroad Avenue, Hammond, Louisiana 70403, to obtain an alcohol permit for a restaurant. The owner is Shamrock Hospitality. Mayor.
This is an ownership change. Everything is in order. Casey has checked out background checks. Glenn Alak is here to speak on
Like
this.
110 Southwest Railroad Avenue, we just simply changing the name on the license.
Okay.
Everything else stays the same.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item?
Glenn, I had, someone reached out to me, saying that, asking whether this was a restaurant or a bar, because apparently it's open at night without the restaurant being open, the kitchen being open, which is a part of the ordinance. I just want to make you aware that it does, if your bar is open, your kitchen's supposed to be open.
Correct.
Okay.
We've had a discussion with Andre. He told us what we need to do to stay
Yep.
restaurants going.
Good. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Well, they really like you.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Aye. Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Reports? Mayor? Okay. Any council reports?
Yes, sir, I got a
Yep.
report. Ms. Pam, could you come up, please?
Pam Haynes, Maryland Street, Hammond, Louisiana. I'm coming up due to a letter that I received from the post office, and them asking us to relocate our mailboxes. I feel that our area was targeted, so I reached out to the post office, and this was the letter that I received. And these are some signatures from some elderly people that couldn't make it tonight that wanted to be here. Don't know the protocol, but I went and talked to Jennifer at the post office. I had to wait 30 minutes. I've had neighbors that have called the post office. One neighbor in particular called 30 times, never got an answer. I called about 20 times, never got an answer. I had to wait 30 minutes, and when I got there, she told me it's just gonna happen in y'all area. So I asked why. One person told me, due to the fact that a dog attacked them. There are no dogs that are not attended on our streets. I have elderly residents that have retired. It's now gonna be a danger. My mother lives with me, she's 79, and I don't want her going to the road to get any mail. I don't know if they reach out to y'all to let y'all know what's going on in the area, but my neighbors were not happy about it. I have some that are here, and they have received the letters also. If you want to come up, you can come up. But we weren't in agreement with it because it's not really safe, and I've got several different reasons why it happened. But when she told me, it's just gonna happen in y'all area. Wrong words. Wrong.
Where they're trying to, your mail is being put at the house?
No, our mailboxes have been, they're on our home.
That's what I'm asking. So now they're trying to move it to the
Relocate to the
road.
street. So I went in several different areas of Hammond. I went downtown Hammond, Linden, Charles. I went on Parish in Dakota. Mailboxes are on houses. So I don't know how they came up with it, but when you tell me it's gonna be y'all.
Well, this has happened in the past, in my district actually, and they did it without, telling anybody, and we went round and round, and then they decided to not enforce that. I am getting tired of hearing that, though, from the post office. We have a leash law. If they have every right, if they feel threatened, they have every right not to deliver mail to that person or the next one or whatever, and they can come. If they can't keep up their dogs, they need to go get the mail from the post office. Everybody in that area should not have to suffer that. A lot of times, they're older people that have their mailboxes on the house, And I'd rather see them get their mail at their house than walking in the street and then getting that and then possibly getting hit or liability. So I don't see where, that has to stop. They keep on doing that, and they need to know that we have ordinances, we have laws protecting them, and they also they need to know that they do not have to deliver the mail to these places that they feel threatened and make them go get the mail at the post office. And that'll fix that. They'll start keeping up with their dogs if that is the case. So is there anything we can do, Andre, as far as making note? And if we can't as a city notify, can you send a letter to our state reps or any senator or whatnot that has any input with the post office to make sure this does not continue to happen? I understand moving forward, if you build a house new and that's what they want, put it in the road, well, I mean, that's what you deal with. But places that are already existing, I just do not feel that's right.
See, that's the reason they use.
What, the incident didn't even happen on our street.
Yeah.
It wasn't Maryland Street. It was 2-3 streets over. So I asked them not to penalize my neighbors because we have a lot of senior citizens. We shouldn't have to be penalized for something that didn't happen on our street.
Yes, ma'am. So the strongest thing you could do, I think, is have the council pass a resolution to ask the postal staff. It's a resolution. The government the federal government's going to control it. We're not. But at least express your will that you don't want the mailboxes relocated to the street. Send that to all of our federal representatives. Send that to everybody you have contact with in federal government and see if you can get somebody's attention.
Okay, well, go ahead.
We have an open line of communication. We have water bills that come out, but just to give us a letter like that. And so they don't send y'all anything, Mayor? Okay.
Well, Andre, we could go ahead and draft.
I'm going to ask the lady to give me a copy of your letter.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
There.
We can go ahead and draft that resolution. But I did have a similar issue like that take place in my district. And I did make contact with the post office. But once we made the comment about the age of the person and getting ready to go to the news, I'm talking about the news, not the paper, the news, the whole situation changed. So that might be, when you talk to them again, let them know you want the camera and see how that go. But Andre, we could try that as a step to see where we can get with that.
They sent the letter, and we've inquired about it, and so we were trying to get some answers. So I'm reaching out to you all to see what can be done, because I'm going to other areas, and I'm seeing mailboxes still on people's houses.
Andre, do you remember what we did? It was about 3 or 4, I had to go back, about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know if you drafted something, we did something. I remember how to ask you to get involved, and we did. And I was looking through my email, I couldn't find the other day, and I was distracted. So yeah, we did something.
Alton McCraney, 204 Maryland Street. I have that same concern. Guys, can y'all hold it down a little while, please? Thank you. It's unfortunate that we have to be here in this meeting discussing a mailbox. We've done things in order. We're paying taxes. We abide. Yet, we've made efforts to go to the post office, deal with this issue before we got here. We come here, and I'm hearing, I was ready to walk. I don't need the camera. We need action. Something simple. Now, we've taken 90% of us went and forced ourselves to buy mailboxes. I've got 2 mail slots on my home. 2. I realize the sun is hot. I also realize that they're riding in newer vehicles with ACs in them. Drive up, come on. It's unnecessary to put us through unnecessary things just to live and get mail. What next? If we don't take a stand now for simple things, they're going to get out of control. We're coming to you guys for your assistance. We need your help. Otherwise, we're going to take over and make these things happen. So please help us out.
Thank you, and Mr. Andre. Hopefully you can come up with something, because I was mad when they made me aware of it. I even talked to the postman that was delivering the mail, and what he told me, he had a dog to attack him. And I think Sam had brought this up, and we had come up with an ordinance that if a dog is loose, the dog pound need to come pick the dog up. So I don't think one person should punish 6 or 7 streets over there. So that's the issue we're dealing with. And I talked to the man said the dog scared the hell out of him. That's what he told me. But the dog didn't bite him. And so that homeowner should have been aware of what was going on, and all the rest of the people shouldn't be punished, because what Ms. Pam said, and she right, we got elder peoples in our community. And of course, it's in District 3. And I say it all the time, look like District 3 be targeted all the time. So hopefully the newspaper people that's in here, that he can write it up the right way and don't blame it on us, the mailboxes. But that being said, I say this here with the post office, and everybody know this here. When they go up on them stamps, we see it all over the news. And if they just gonna sit here and target District 3 about a mailbox, they need to target the whole city of Hammond. From the water bill, it should have been put in the water bill, and I've been saying this a long time, where everybody can be aware of it. What if somebody didn't receive that letter and not receiving their mail and don't know what's going on? I say this here, let's use the water department and make it work for the city of Hammond, for everybody, not just one person. Mr. Mayor, the mold. COVID on the rise right now. I would like to get this building tested for mold. The building that you in, Mr. Mayor, tested for mold. And the building that the water department in, because these old buildings, and I'm concerned because it looks like I'm coughing when I'm coming here and when I'm leaving here. And I know I got allergies now, but we need to see what's going on. So could we please get it tested and let me know what's going on, please?
Yes, sir. They tested the administration building, the windows in the back, as on this end where Lisa is, were leaking. So we pulled all the caulking out. We re-caulking it. We're going to put gaskets on the inside. They gave us a description of how to treat the brick and what to do with the sheetrock. So we moved everyone out of place so they can do this. It wasn't bad, but no mold's good. If you know anything about mold, you cut off the water, the mold's going to die. Moisture in water keeps it growing. But we'll have this building tested as well, and the water department.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to get a stop sign on Howard Street and Mooney Avenue. And Carolina Street, what's going on with the name being changed?
Don't know. I'll look into it tomorrow.
Okay.
Change to?
Willie Grant, the city councilman. And they keep coming to me, Mr. Mayor, and I'm going to ask you, what about the police officer that used the bathroom where the toilet wasn't hooked up at that courthouse? What's going on with that?
Apparently talking to the folks over there, embarrassingly enough for the gentleman, irritable bowel syndrome, not being able to hold it, whatever, did what he did, and embarrassed about it anyway. He took care of it, cleaned it up, threw every, embarrassing situation for the man and in the court. The judge was right there with him, helped him out with the situation. It's a bad situation for the individual.
Okay, and that being said, and see, we got a problem now with the building permit office, and it was the same officer forged somebody's name. So you see how we have issues, and I know y'all be trying to figure out where I get off from. They catch me in Mooney Park and they tell me what's going on. We had this police officer sit there and forge somebody's name, and that's where it all stemmed from. And all the toilets, and that was a good one, Mr. Mayor. I like how you put that together. He passed all them bathrooms that was working. He went in a closet and used the bathroom where the toilet wasn't hooked up to nothing. Yeah, that's what he did. But, you know.
And left.
Yeah, I'm glad you
went
said
from
it.
the courtroom to the judges going, yeah.
Yeah,
They
so.
didn't pass any bathrooms.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm trying to see why this guy's still at work. Because somehow we done lost the whole building permit office. And it looked like they were trying to do right. And here we saw this guy. We know this guy forged somebody's name, a police officer.
What do you mean forge somebody's name?
Yeah, you know what's going on.
No, I don't.
My God, and you the mayor?
That's right.
Well, ask the chief. He was suspended for 15 days, so watch what you get into. He was suspended for 15 days for forging somebody's name.
On a ticket, huh?
Yeah, on a ticket.
Yeah.
And then it come from using a toilet that was out of order, wasn't even in the bathroom, so he knew what he was doing. He found the toilet himself. Mr. Mayor, we got issues. And I know you can't babysit everybody. I wouldn't ask you to babysit everybody. But things like this here, this is unacceptable. If I was to do that, and I say this here, if I was to do that by anybody on side of their house or in their house or where a toilet wasn't working, what would happen to me? Because we fire people for any little thing. David LeBeau, he was fired. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Mr. James, I got him right here. And Mr. Andre, why I got you here? He had to pay for his own file.
I'd recommend that be reimbursed. I don't think an employee should have to pay for his own personnel file, and I've given that advice to the city. I'm happy to speak with you about that.
And then another issue too, and I don't know if I should say it. Let me show you how I'm finding out every day that the department head is not really qualified. HR, we know how important that is. HR sent his personnel file to the mayor's office. I thought, long as I've been working, HR supposed to maintain his personnel file in their office. I ain't never heard of this before, how HR, and that's how I be knowing that these people ain't qualified. HR, I'ma say it again, sent Mr. James whatever illness he have, from the mayor to Miss Lisa to everybody in that area, could have picked this man's file up and read his personnel file. That's how sad that is. That don't supposed to take place on no term. We got an issue. Say that again. And once again, he in my district. This is what we go through. We know we got a problem. The city councilman, I'm gonna say this here, we all don't get along. We don't talk, we have issues. We're dealing with taxpayers' money. When we looking for things to be done in our district, we holler. Some of us get it, some of us don't. I asked Ms. Lisa that I would like to get a request from the time I was in office, how much money being spent in everybody's district. I'm not talking about that capital A project, because see, this is what I done learned, Mr. President. They have all this stuff on their sheet. And Sam asked for a lawyer, a certified accountant, just to check the building permit office. Now, that's all he asked for. Hell, we really need to know where the money is, because we don't know what's going on with the money. But we said here, we're going to be quiet as long as we get our stuff. But we do have a problem, and you know what? Mr. Mayor ain't done nothing wrong. I'm going to say this. Guess what? We the ones voting on it. So it looks bad on us, because when they bring stuff before us, I see what you're voting on. Because guess what? It don't look bad on the mayor. Now, the permit office, Mr. Mayor, they look bad on you. They really do. I'm going to tell you that now. But we voting on this here stuff. Slow down. These people from the airport, you know, coming, $1,200 ain't going to make or break them. But y'all don't see it's a problem. That man ain't worried about no $1,200, but it's a problem. That's right. And so, guess what? You still vote on it. That man ain't want to come up here. But you still vote on it. You don't see what's a problem? Bag up. Ain't none of this here stuff going to make or break you. Just slow down. Pump the brakes. Everybody keep coming in here with issues, but guess what? We acting like ain't nothing wrong. I have a problem with it, and it's time to stop. It's time to stop now. Mr. Andre, I'm going to say this here. I thank you for your service, but I think you've been slipping too. Mr. Kip, the city councilmen definitely need their own lawyer. I done said this a whole lot. We need money. We need money. Mr. Andrew, we need our own lawyer, and we can ask our lawyer all this here stuff, and we wouldn't have to go through all this here. We do have a problem. Our lawyer could have checked on the mailboxes, you know, for every issue we have. The city attorney got a lawyer. The mayor got a lawyer. The city councilmen don't have nobody that they can go to for legal advice. And when I go to Mr. Andre, and he'll tell you, I went to his office one time, and I don't like how he said it, because when I got through, well, the mayor got the final say so. The mayor can't have the final say so, Mr. Andre, when it's pertaining to my community. The mayor don't stay over there. You don't stay over there. Y'all community are protected. I want the protection in my community for any little thing. The police present, I need them there. I need them there. I'm saying all these little things. Now, one time I told the police, don't come in the area. Please come in the area. We got an election coming up. And now, one time the councilman talking about firing the chief. We just want the chief to be accountable for what's going on. That's all we ask for. The mayor's over the chief. That somehow the mayor didn't even know the police officer. My wife told me to use the word defecate. Defecated, but that ain't the word I want to use, but I'm going to say that. Defecated in an unused toilet. Yeah. Well, look, one thing about it, ain't nobody stopping y'all. Y'all can get up and leave anytime. I do it all the time. Don't worry about it. So this still got to be said, because you know one thing I love about this city council meeting? All this here is on the record, and it was not leave. So, Mr. Mayor, and you plan on running for office, you got to do a better job, because it don't look good right now.
I had to say a couple things. One thing, if that is true with that guy doing that, that's disgusting, and there's no excuse for about the bowel movement and IBS and all. I mean, that's just disgusting, and that shouldn't be allowed, and you shouldn't want it allowed in your city, and wearing a badge and leaving it like that, and that's just disgusting. So I mean, that's just a poor, if that's true, that's just a poor display of the city of Hammond and character. That's that. Secondly, the speed hump. Talked about it for a while, maybe something personal with the department head not wanting to do it. So if that's the case, do you want me to send that guy to your house or to your office to maybe you can ask him to get done? Because it's been a year now and it's still isn't done. And it's getting frustrating because of videos, and Rosewood has a lot of issues, and that was helping that issue with the traffic, the flying through there and everything else. And so it needs to be a priority because it was actually slowing down that traffic on that side. And I would like to see if we can get that done sometime between now and this month would be great, because it's still still not done. And then there's one other thing, the grass. Has that lawnmower, that blade or whatever, that attachment to the tractor came back out of the shop so we can get that sidewalk in Hardin Drive, the sidewalk going down there, the grass is growing over? Yeah, the side arm or whatever we need to do to get that grass cut off the sidewalk going down there. Okay. Okay. That one's gonna have a side arm too, the Kubota? It's gonna have a, it's side, to do sidewalks, the side of sidewalks, the grass growing over? Yeah, that's what needed over there, so, thank you.
Now we just buy another one.
I bet you can.
Thank you.
Just one quick question. When I made a proposal dealing with the garbage and water, I was told that a study had to be conducted. That would be the holdup. I was trying to see where we are in the process of this study. I will. All right.
If not, Mr. Kipper, let me tell you this here. We spending $1,500,000 on garbage. Huh? Yes. Yes. $1 million. $1,500,000 on garbage. That's unheard of.
It's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
We need to just terminate that contract and bid it out again.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Meeting adjourned.